from quite as many hypotheticals, if you will, Judge Lynch.
Dropping shit.
My problem is that we have been in a state of crisis since December 5th, and I seem not to be getting
This is a
across
test.
to the
This is
court
already a test.
the urgency of the
Have this been your
circumstances in which
actual
my
life?
clients and any other FFL 01 or 02 finds themselves here in the state of New York. So I make myself a list of dates. First, we had to deal with the crisis of the annual certification. We were talking earlier about communists and could a sign be put up about communists? And of course, my anchor cases
Now, you guys
for
want to
that
say something?
were what? Back to
on
the
Rumble.
communist era and the certification. Are you a member of the Communist Party or not? In this case, have you complied
Because I'm
with
just-
all of New York's new mandates or not? Then we moved on to the monthly inventory reconciliation report, which no one even knows what to do with. Then the semi-annual book of acquisition
Why do you
and
not know
disposition.
how to do an inventory reconciliation? You have
Ah.
a certain number of guns that you have.
Oh, yes. No,
Some
no.
got sold, some new ones got bought. You add them up, you count the ones you've got, and you see what.
Marco,
what it
what's
is.
up?
No, but the statute does not say what to do with it.
Mike McLean.
Are we
you
supposed
still
to
awake,
hold it
brother?
until the New
Damn.
York State Police arrive? Are we
Polska,
supposed to be
what's
mailing
happening,
it
brother?
in?
Well, if it doesn't say you're supposed to mail it in, I guess you don't have to mail it in.
But what if the officer shows up with a different interpretation? We
Yeah,
have not
we-
only
No,
that, we
but-
have
I mean,
also,
generally speaking, like.
After
income
watching all
tax
the oral
returns,
arguments
I
today,
have
I
to file.
might.
There's a
Sure.
law that says I have to file them every year. There are
yes.
other record-keeping requirements on many businesses.
So yeah, I'm testing. I'm
that
streaming to
say you
Rumble
keep
right
certain
now
records.
too.
So
So I'm
Yes.
keep them.
testing
Doesn't
that.
say you have
So
to mail them in.
You
so
guys
there
on
isn't any place to
YouTube,
mail them to. I'm not sure I understand what is the ambiguity there.
Look to the next one that is due,
That's
the first
the only reason I'm
semi-annual
still
acquisition
kind
and
of playing
disposition
around
book
right now.
photocopies that are to be mailed in April. So it's my next crisis with the
This is my
plaintiffs.
first time.
We find
streaming
ourselves
Rumble.
once again at a point where we are going to have to be invoking our Fifth Amendment rights.
Well, I'm not sure, again,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not
It
entirely,
says
and I
I've got
understand there will be people who are
6 people
violating
watching
certain
on
rules,
Rumble,
and that
so-
may create a Fifth Amendment problem. But I thought the principal argument that was made below and was made
you
here
guys on Rumble
was
can
that
hear the
no
audio.
one
Okay,
can
give me a
say
5 by 5
honestly
on
that
that.
they're
How
in
about that?
compliance with federal and state laws because there are conflicts between federal and state laws. I thought that was the argument.
We are
Am I
in,
missing something there?
yeah, we are in compliance with the federal laws, absolutely. We are in compliance with New York State laws that predate
Mike,
the new
Taco,
laws that went
Polska,
into
any of you
effect
guys
on
got a
December
Rumble
5th.
started up?
Where we are not in compliance is with the Group A laws, several where we intentionally are saying there is a conflict.
Yeah,
that
but there
cannot
isn't
be
really. I mean,
resolved.
in other words,
Yeah,
that's
Taco.
the issue that is before
you should
us,
be able to
is whether
find
there
my
really
Rumble
is
at
an
CNT
inconsistency.
Design.
Yes.
And as to the
722.
general state of crisis, I mean, this was a preliminary injunction,
pretty sure that's
right?
it.
There was a hearing.
There was no hearing
There was
in
no
our
hearing.
case. We simply had
I've
oral
just been
arguments.
using
There was
Rumble
no
as kind of a
testimony taken
backup
at
for
all.
all of my
But
It was
there
foreclosed.
are affidavits and so on, right?
Yes,
There
that
are
is
factual
correct.
conclusions.
Just
that the,
now.
district
Like I said,
court
this is my
drew.
first time streaming.
The district court dismissed us on a text order in less than
Everything else has
24 hours
been
of the oral arguments. And then some days later, after we
backups
had
on
already
Rumble.
submitted our first emergency motion to this
But I'm
court,
going to start
turned in a written
streaming to
findings.
Rumble more.
So when we did the
Matter of
emergency
fact, there's-
motion, we
Okay, well, that's the
said
emergency
it was
motion.
bunch of
Now we're
content I
here,
did
now we're
Yes.
talking
for
about the
my,
merits. Now we have a set of
SDI
findings
stuff. I
by the
think I'm going
district
to
court.
post on my Rumble.
And so the question,
some of the
as I
guns
understood the
and
issue
stuff.
here, the basic
Yes.
issue here, and tell me if I'm just totally misconceiving this.
Mm.
You argue,
Mhm.
and this part I think has
Yeah,
to
Mike,
be
I'm-
more or less right. I can't speak for anybody else on the panel.
I'm getting to the
that
point.
If there were burdens
there's a
that
lot of
were
my
placed
gunsmith
on
and
gun
stuff, I-
dealers that made it
I'm going to start
difficult,
posting on Rumble.
enormously
even though it's a
difficult,
bunch of
put
older
substantial
stuff I
burden on
recorded
people's
for
ability to
SDI.
acquire firearms. That would
I'm going to
violate the
start
Second
running
Amendment.
that
That
on
makes a lot
Rumble.
of sense to me anyway.
Let's see how it goes.
But then we have a district
Um,
court that said no such thing. There's no showing that these folks are going to go out of business. And there's no showing that
Yeah,
even if
Mike.
these particular plaintiffs did go out of
Sleep
business.
is one of those
That
optional
there would still
things
be
sometimes.
any, nobody's entitled to have a gun shop on every
I was
corner,
messing
so
around
it
with
makes it
Joe
very
before I
convenient
got
for
off
them
on
to
the
buy
last
guns.
YouTube stream. and I was
So,
messing around
you
with
have to
Rumble.
show if you're going to
And
rely
hell,
on
I
that
couldn't sleep,
argument,
so I decided
that
to see if I go
what the
with
regulation
stream
of
start on
gun
Rumble.
dealers, which the Supreme Court
And,
has
I
consistently
mean,
said is
looks like
something
it's
that's okay,
freaking
generally speaking.
5 by 5 on Rumble
is-
now. So
being conducted
Figured
in
I'd go
such a
and throw
way
one of
that
the,
it's going to make it very hard for people who
arguments
want to
we
buy
listened
guns
to
to get
earlier
them.
today.
And I thought the district court said that showing
and
hasn't
let
been
that
made.
joker play on
So
Rumble.
is that really not the issue? Whether the district court
Taco,
clearly
do you
erred
have
in
a
finding
Rumble
that,
channel?
there is not that level of burden.
And she clearly
Or
erred
if any of you
because
guys
she
do have
really
Rumble
jumbled
channels,
the
shit, man,
issues.
hook it up.
What
throw
I've
it out
tried to
there.
get across in our papers is that the laws we complain of fall into three separate
Used to be.
categories, Group A, B, and C, and a separate standard will apply to each. So when
Very
we're looking at a direct conflict to federal firearms compliance law,
So I just
such as
opened
there
up
shall
my
not be a gun registry,
stream to-
dealers who create certain records at their business premises must maintain them there, full stop. We're looking specifically at the
Yeah, dude, I
preemption
played
question.
around on YouTube.
Well, tell me
on
exactly,
some.
give me
I
your
haven't
best
been
shot.
on there.
As to, here's what the federal
a
law
whole
says
lot.
and what the state law says is inconsistent with that.
But
Sure.
there's another
Congress
one. I think
three
I'm gonna
times
start
over
backing
has
stuff
stated a
up
very
on.
clear intention that there shall never be at any point a gun
'Cause
owner's registry.
hell, some of my
The
guns.
state of New York has admitted that
I know
that
good
is
and
what
well
they
if I
want
post
to
that
do
on
with the
YouTube,
records they
they're gonna
wish to
nuke me.
take from my
Um,
clients. When we go through
that
federal
just-
firearms compliance
But
law,
That's
tell me
the way
exactly
that shit's
where it
gonna
says
go.
that in the law. What is the law that
Mhm.
says they are creating a gun registry?
there are numerous sites, Your Honor, and I laid them out
Just
consecutively.
give me one.
Alright,
Just give me one if you know. I want to be able to look at them. Tell me what is the best one that says they are creating a gun registry, a registry of gun owners.
The
Let's
state
see
of
if I
New
can do
York
this.
admission to that point is contained in the papers that are currently pending before the United States Supreme Court. I did put that note in both my brief and in my reply. I can pull that separately if you'd like, while
Okay, no, if we
Mr.
got it, if we got it in the.
Yes,
I think I got
it is
over there,
there.
Taco. I'm
The
fixing to follow
statute-
you
Aren't they,
now.
don't they sort of have that? I mean, this is what's
Okay.
so peculiar. If they're giving licenses to everybody, then they have a list of all the people they've given a license
So
to.
let's see. So I think
But
I got you,
a
Taco.
handgun license list
you doesn't have it-
housed by
don't
the
have
New York
any
State
videos over
Police
there
is
yet,
not
but
a
you just
gun
got
owner's
some.
registry.
Oh.
A gun owner's registry is every firearm bought and sold. A permit, for example, does not even require a person to own a handgun.
I see, yes.
And so when we go from Congress to the United States Attorney General, to the ATF and the FBI,
This is gonna be
then to
news
the
streaming
FFL,
over on
they function essentially as
Rumble,
agents
too.
for the federal government in the transaction. They are collecting specific information from the consumer of firearms. They are the only person with the connection of the person to the specific arm.
But how does that make you
Mhm.
subject to conflicting obligations? That may be something that New York State shouldn't do.
Wow, my
New York State
Maybe
shouldn't do it
Maybe a gun owner
on
can
Rumble.
complain about that. Why is it
Taco.
a problem for you?
Because my clients are the dealers who would be subject to federal felonies for disclosing their records to the New York State Police.
There's something that says
Yes.
your records cannot be shown to the New York police?
That they may not be given to other than their premises, through the point even that the business itself closes, at which point, and I've laid this out in my papers, there is a specific ATF on site that happens for those records to go into permanent hold with the ATF, then under their own strict regulations, where it may not ever, in any circumstances, become a gun owner's registry. That is correct.
In order for it to become a gun owner's registry, you would have to send it into the state, correct?
That is correct.
But you
So-
said earlier that there's no law that requires
I
you to do
thought
that.
on
There is now.
StreamYard.
Oh, there is now. Yes, that is why we're here.
I thought you said that the gun dealers
Mhm,
are in a
mhm.
pickle because they don't know whether they have to send it in or not. And whichever
Ah.
they do, they may find themselves in violation of law.
Judge Jacobs, thank you for that clarification question. You will find that there are several provisions of the statute at New York General Business Law, Section 875. We have at least 8 different new record-keeping requirements. Some, such as the one for April, that I'm most concerned we might get a ruling on soon, would require us to photocopy and mail them to the New York State Police. We know that. We do not intend to do that. We will be invoking Fifth Amendment rights again to do that. What I referenced, however, was the monthly inventory reconciliation,
Can
which
you
that
just
one
give me
specifically
the,
says.
please cite to the federal statute that says you would be violating federal law if you do exactly what you described.
I do, while Mr. Beasley is speaking, if you wish, I can look that up in my papers. What I've done in the papers is I do have it as Group A, and I walk you through each one of the record-keeping requirements. And I specifically reference not only the 18 USC provisions, but also the 27 CFR and also 28 CFR provisions that could be charged against my clients in the event that they violate federal law. Absolutely, or we would not be here. We would not be here. So in a sense, it boils down to, in a choice between going to federal prison, if you will, or state prison, our choice is that we are going to follow the federal law first. We consider that to be the apex. We consider that Congress has been very clear in 3 statutes. And now, most recently, the bipartisan bill from June of 2022 under President Biden, again, the reaffirmation there should not be a gun owner's registry. So that speaks to our Group A laws. As to our Group B laws, then we have a couple provisions from the CCIA, so we're a little bit back into that question of historic context. There has never before, either in New York or in the United States, been a license required for a long gun. Now there is one, and when the state, my learned colleague, Mr. Kiernan, provided some statutes that were historic, those 4 laws actually prove our point, that men who were showing up for their militia duty brought the rifles they owned and possessed. They brought the ammunition that they owned and possessed. There was no license that was required either for the long gun or for the ammunition, which rolls us rather nicely into my slightly esoteric point that I'm hoping, Judge Jacobs, you might in particular muse around with. The notion that there is still one word left in our precious Bill of Rights to interpret, and that is the word to keep. It says to keep and bear arms, and yet to bear really has had pole position. I mean, look, even this morning, everybody left, right? Here I am to talk about to keep, which I think is the most interesting historic minute we could have in our generation.
Well, let me just try to understand the argument. Is it your position that there's some special license required of a gun dealer to keep the very guns that he or she is selling? Is that the point? Or is this a separate argument that some of your clients would have whether they were in the business of selling guns or not?
We believe that to keep and bear arms has an independent value that has yet to be realized. So I cited to you in my reply papers a decision from 1871 where Andrews versus State looked like 2 judges from Tennessee maybe kinda came close to seeing that the words to keep have an independent value. And one memorandum from 2004 from the Department of Justice to President Bush where they gave 2 pages on the words
I'm
to
sorry,
keep.
I thought it was a simple question. Are you saying that this issue about keeping arms, which after all I thought was what Heller was about in the first place. So that's why we're getting to bear, because now we have the carry issues, which are different. I just asked, are your clients saying they're objecting to something they want to do as private citizens that any of these other folks could have also challenged if they chose, and if they had an interest in it? Or are you saying there's something that the keep obligation is special for gun dealers?
There's not.
Which is it? I mean, I'm just ignorant. I want to know what your argument is.
The argument is it is one and the
Central
same.
District of California.
That arms is the only object in the Bill of Rights. In order to bear arms, you are owning and possessing them. You are doing that by going to the dealer. The dealer is inextricably linked. If New York is to prevail, and as I say, let's just go to my worst case scenario. Gun dealers start shutting down all across the state of New York.
I mean, I probably got feds viewing me.
It will not matter what you have already talked about this morning. There will be no firearm to bear.
Probably
the New York
more
citizen, as a
popular than
practical
feds than
matter,
anybody
even if
else.
they have a concealed carry permit, will have nowhere to go to purchase that firearm.
About the
Okay,
only
but that gets
asshole
back to
know
what I
spends
was
this
prepared
much
to
time
concede at
listening
the
to
beginning. And
Supreme
again,
Court and district court
maybe
argument.
after I finally study it and after I talk to
About
my colleagues and
firearms.
they have a different view, but
But
my inclination is say, yeah, okay, that's an argument, but factually,
Mhm.
the district court said you haven't made the showing that that is what is likely.
Yeah.
So that's the issue. So what you're saying is,
Okay, so now I
what
hear
you're saying
you
about the
better.
right to keep is not about either.
Mhm.
My client wants to buy a long gun and now he needs a license and that's unconstitutional. And that's just something he wants separate from his being a gun dealer. Nor is it that somehow the licensing requirements prevents him from having inventory. But we're just back to, if the gun dealers have to close down, then everybody's Second Amendment rights are violated. That's the basic crux of what your argument is.
Yes, I am not here with a property argument or a seizure of property argument. I am
got it.
here, the
Okay.
way that we rolled it across was
Okay,
to
so then let's
say,
get back to
Yes.
what is it that makes the district court's finding clearly erroneous when the district court says that you have not established that all of you guys, all of the people who are, that you represent,
yes,
are going out of business, let alone that all the gun dealers around New York are all going out of business. How did you make that show?
yes,
What's the evidence?
by a new standard, constitutional regulatory overburden. So as I've laid out in our papers, and most particularly in the reply that we just submitted, if we recognize to keep as the new kid on the block, the final word to be interpreted, and we give it a separate independent value, then this court would need to have some way to know when is that being violated. We are proposing constitutional regulatory overburden, that there comes a point where the state is targeting clearly an industry. New York General Business Law, Section 875, only applies to dealers of firearms, where the burdens heaped upon them are impossible for the whole list of reasons that I set out: technologically infeasible, financially implausible. Look at the totals that we've done on our specific statute section by statute section analysis. You can't do it. It is designed to drive an industry out of business. And so when you come back to a comment such as, well, what if we just have Walmarts? Well, Walmart only has 47 FFL licenses total in the state. And as of 2019, their public policy is they don't sell handguns. That brings us down to Runnings, also proposed by the state of New York. 10 FFL licenses total for the state of New York. Where does that leave us? You were talking earlier, what are historic analogs? How do we know when a case is close enough? I have said, perhaps to the point of boring in these different proceedings, you're in steelworkers versus US. You're in those wartime necessary industry cases where we have a pocket of 14 cases total that have essentially gone to sleep because they haven't been of use. Now they're of use again, because right here, right now, what you have is a state who is getting tricky. We've got this wonderful whole women's health case out of the United States Supreme Court, and not only the majority opinion, but the concurring and the dissents nailed it as to what the state of New York is doing. They're not coming in with an outright ban. They know they can't get away with that, even here at the Second Circuit. Instead, they're coming in with a scheme designed to evade judicial review. Justice Comey Barrett nails it with that language. Justice Roberts saying we may have to work harder as judges because it is not so obvious the endpoint to which these laws are directed. So we've put on essentially our little see-through glasses to look at this law and say, I come to you today with 31 separate statutes and statutory sections. I am the heavy lift. I was glad when you rearranged us on Friday and I became case number 5. I know I'm asking you to do the most, but it is to keep, and it is my clients with their unique standing beyond the plaintiffs of Heller, McDonald, and Bruin, where you can be first.
So to get,
You can be the judges who are the first to interpret the last word of the Bill of Rights and give meaning to the Second Amendment that will last for generations.
Thank you.
May it please the court, my name is Beasley Kiernan. I'll be arguing for the state defendants in this case. The district court here correctly denied a preliminary injunction. This court should affirm. As you've heard, plaintiffs principally challenge safety and record-keeping requirements imposed on firearm dealers. Plaintiffs fail to show that these laws are preempted by federal law or even implicate the Second Amendment, let alone violate the Second Amendment. And I'll just note that plaintiffs also challenge 3 laws in their capacity as individual owners of firearms: the training requirement for a concealed carry license, the licensing requirement for the purchase of a semi-automatic rifle, and the background check requirement for buying ammunition. The district court correctly held that plaintiffs lack standing to challenge these laws, and they're consistent with the nation's historical tradition of firearm regulation in any event, because they're designed to ensure that those possessing arms are in fact law-abiding, responsible citizens. But turning first to the safety and record-keeping requirements, insofar as plaintiffs are attempting to assert a Second Amendment right to sell guns, the district court correctly held that there is no such right. This is consistent with the Ninth Circuit's decision in Teixeira, which held that there is no independent freestanding right to sell firearms under the Second Amendment. And the Ninth Circuit in that case did an exhaustive analysis of both the text and the history of the Second Amendment. Insofar as plaintiffs are attempting to assert a Second Amendment claim on behalf of their customers, as the district court explained, plaintiffs have just failed to show that these challenged laws prevent plaintiffs' customers from purchasing arms in the state of New York. As you've heard, plaintiffs' theory is that the laws are so burdensome that gun stores across the state will close. There's no support for this in the record. Even in plaintiffs' reply brief, they acknowledge that there are still over 1,700 gun stores in the state of New York as of February 2023. Nor is there any evidence that any particular New Yorker is unable to purchase guns because of these safety and record-keeping requirements.
Do you agree that if they could make that factual showing, they would be able to, they would have standing to raise that issue? In other words, why isn't this just like when there was a constitutional right to abortion, that abortion clinics would come in and say these various regulations are designed to make it impossible for us to do business? And those were, some of them won, some of them lost, but they were all considered on the merits all the way up to the Supreme Court. So, I mean, are you contesting that they shouldn't even be here? Or are you saying basically that they just haven't made that showing and so we don't have to worry about that?
That's right, they haven't made that showing. Whether New York enacted such a restrictive law that really did prevent New Yorkers from purchasing guns, whether in that case these particular firearm dealers would have standing to challenge those laws, it's a difficult question. The Ninth Circuit said yes. In that kind of situation, firearm dealers would have derivative standing.
Well, that was certainly the case when you had one left abortion clinic in a state and
yes.
there were regulations that were not particularly relevant to safety that seemed to be aimed at closing them down, then that made out a claim. You're saying that's not where we are here.
Right, that's not where we are here, exactly. And the district court ruled this way on the merits after reviewing the evidence in the record and finding that it just didn't support plaintiff's claim. Turning to plaintiffs' individual claims, the district court correctly held that plaintiffs lack standing. First, plaintiffs are not injured by the training requirement. That applies only to those who are seeking a concealed carry license. Plaintiffs already have a concealed carry license. Under penal law, section 400.00, those licenses, quote, shall be in force and effect until revoked. Plaintiffs need only recertify their licenses every 3 years, and that does not entail any training requirement. Plaintiffs have also failed to show any injury in fact traceable to the semi-automatic rifle licensing requirement, which applies only to the purchase or transfer of possession of a semi-automatic rifle. Only one plaintiff, Martello, states that he even desires to purchase a semi-automatic rifle. He does not describe any concrete plan to do so, certainly hasn't applied for a license, so he has not shown any actual or imminent injury. Even if there were some potential injury, it would not be traceable to the state defendants. Martello's claim is that his county is not issuing semi-automatic rifle licenses at this time. There's no evidence for that in the record, and we're not aware of any widespread refusal to issue licenses at the county level. But even if it were true, it would just mean that Martello's hypothetical injury would be traceable to the county
Representative Hank Johnson.
For similar reasons, plaintiffs have failed to show any injury in fact traceable to the ammunition background check requirement. They haven't shown that they will face any obstacles in purchasing ammunition once those background check requirements come into effect later this year.
203 new judges.
On the merits, all these laws are consistent with the nation's historical tradition of firearms regulation, and your honors need look no further than footnote 9 of Bruin, which states that nothing in this court's analysis should be interpreted to suggest the unconstitutionality of shall-issue licensing regimes, such as the licensing regime for the purchase of semi-automatic rifles. Bruin goes on to specifically cite background checks in firearm safety courses as examples of components of a lawful shall-issue licensing regime. Justice Kavanaugh's concurrence makes the same point. He states, shall-issue licensing regimes are constitutionally permissible, and they may require a licensed applicant to undergo a background check and training in firearms handling. And the reason these laws are constitutional is twofold. First, they do not necessarily prevent any responsible, law-abiding citizen from keeping and bearing arms. Indeed, plaintiffs have not shown any infringement of their own Second Amendment rights here. That's why they lack standing. It also means they fail to show that these laws implicate their Second Amendment rights. And the second reason is that these laws are consistent with laws, a longstanding tradition of laws designed to ensure that only law-abiding, responsible citizens possess arms in this country. Preventing dangerous people from bearing arms, essentially. And I don't think any court has disputed that a state can take certain reasonable prophylactic measures to ensure that dangerous people do not possess and bear arms. Unless there are any further questions, I'll rest on my briefs. Thank you very much.
I'm reading something else on
So
the,
what might actually assist the
Another
court, if you
court.
turn in the appendix, I mean, you'll find the one-page chart that brings our case down to the A, B, and C, so that you can see how these laws both operate and then the theory of law behind them that we are arguing. What is in the record, also right at the same point, is the 6-page chart. So when my learned colleague talks about these safety rules and regulations, and you and I, Judge Lynch, get into a discussion of what is vague, is part of what we've been dealing with is that the law directed the agencies to promulgate rules and regulations, to promulgate the curriculum for the statewide firearms training, to issue different kinds of documents, of which they haven't. They have not. So when my colleague stands up here and says, well, nobody's having a problem getting guns, that is not true, because my clients in their declarations and with full standing can say, as a dealer, it is illegal for me to sell a semi-automatic rifle to a customer who does not have a standalone semi-automatic rifle permit. You go to the chart and you see, why is that? Because the New York State Police have failed to issue what the format
and this
is
one after
for
this
this permit.
arguments.
So no county clerk in any county
So
is
not a bad
capable
test.
of issuing the semi-automatic rifle
So
permit.
you guys forgive me, I look like an
My
idiot.
clients
Sit over here
then
reading a bunch of
pivot
other shit on these courts.
to the customer side of the counter and say, we can't buy one. And the state cannot force my clients to become ignorant, to walk into a colleague's dealership, for example, and say, gee, Judge Lee, would you mind selling me a semi-automatic rifle? And pretend like they don't know that the law is it would be a felony for Judge Lee to sell us a semi-automatic rifle without that freestanding license. This is what we mean about the scheme that New York State is perpetuating here. There is not a single person in the state of New York who can get the training required as of September 1st for a permit because the state police has failed to issue the standardized curriculum. And my colleague is incorrect as to the law. Section 400 of the penal law does not in any way distinguish between renew and recertify. It is not defined there. And as I set out in my papers, exactly how many times each word is used. The word renew, 39 times. If my colleague's interpretation is correct, then there's nobody who can actually renew their permit. They have to go on a fresh application every single time. which clearly is not as what is intended here by the law. So we are at a total standstill. And what is happening on the ground is a combination of both ignorance and turning away. Dealers who are actually conducting sales that they know or should know are illegal. Customers who, through public education, not undertaken by the New York State Police, but frankly by the proliferation of cases and radio interviews I've been doing and so forth, are becoming aware that the county is issuing, for example, an endorsement onto a concealed carry permit, a little stamp that they're adding to your concealed carry permit. They are saying this is sufficient, go forward, buy guns. But then the New York State Police website recently is saying that's not correct. Plaintiffs in Gazzola versus Hochul, they do not use those words, I only wish they did, but that our theory is correct. You need a freestanding license. So what is happening on the ground right now in New York is a total collision. The black letter of the law versus the papers of my colleague versus the New York State Police website. It is not a situation that we have experienced in New York. It is not a question of, was the Sullivan Act taking care of it? No. What was taking care of it was this
They're
Bible,
reading shit, they ain't paying damn
the
attention.
white book.
Nothing.
What I live by every day doing federal firearms compliance law, which states with clarity what is to be done, on what date, with who. We understand how the Second Amendment has worked
I don't see how. the
without
court-
judges, without courts, without precedent, until this governor last summer passed these laws directed at
doesn't have
my
any
clients,
video feed
only,
for their kids.
only the dealers. Nobody
Also,
else
that-
who is
that
a
white book is also aimed only at the dealers, right?
anyone who has a federal firearms
Yeah.
license, so also manufacturers, importers,
Yeah,
exporters.
so again, the
Yes,
same sort of thing here.
but it is,
So you're
it
saying
is,
that they haven't issued their white book yet?
no, far, far from what we have here. Congress, since 1968, has very carefully, and with 3 major enactments, gone through and culled through and organically derived the system that you see today that we use. New York State, in my reply, I walk you through it, took laws Congress has already repealed as being unconstitutional from the original 1968 Gun Control Act,
6 days ago.
and taken that out of the garbage can of Constitution and passed it. And they are claiming these are new laws. They are not. And I cite you chapter and verse through just 3 of those examples in my reply papers, where 2 of the original pieces from the Gun Control Act now show up in New York State law. And 1 ATF regulation that was proposed but not adopted because Congress interceded now becomes part of the new law that we challenge. We are the only statute that has not been adopted by any other state since last summer. The CCIA in sensitive places is a bit like chickenpox, right? We have cases going on in at least 7 different states with very similar laws. New York General Business Law, Section 875 is alone. There's not even any amicus briefs in this case. That's why I pointed you to and quoted from an interview done where the architect who worked with the governor, per her own admissions at a press conference, says to the Wall Street Journal, whatever's left after they get done in the court. This is not about public safety. This is absolutely a frontal assault on the Second Amendment, cleverly done.
Pride Month heritage.
But we've dug to the
Jesus
bottom
Christ.
to even interpret for you what were the origins of these unconstitutional laws. I'm the sweeper, so unless you have more questions, I guess I would say thank you on behalf of all plaintiffs. I've spoken with the other counsels, and we do all appreciate this historic opportunity to be with you this morning.
Yes, thank you, and thank you.
Thank you.
To all the advocates, who've argued today. So that's the last case on our calendar. So I believe we're ready to adjourn now.
All right, so we're gonna listen to one more thing while I'm still
Court stands adjourned.
fucking coherent. Let's see, where's it at? Sup, Frankenstein? What's happening, brother?
Hello from the Federal Judicial Center. I'm Beth Wiggins, Director of Research at the FJC, and this is Term Talk. In each 8 to 12-minute episode, we discuss what the lower courts may need to know about this term's decisions. Joining me today are Erwin Chemerinsky, Dean and Jesse H. Chopra, Distinguished Professor of Law, University of California, Berkeley School of Law, and Tara Grove, Vincent and Elkins Chair in Law, University of Texas, Austin School of Law. Thank you both for being here today. Today we're discussing the court's decision in New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruen, a case about the regulation of firearms. The case concerns a New York State concealed carry law that's been in place since the early 1900s. The law requires gun owners to demonstrate proper cause to carry a weapon for self-defense purposes. Tara, can you tell us some about the background and facts of this case?
Right. So for a very long time, the Supreme Court did not hold that the Second Amendment did very much. It protected state militias, but did not protect an individual right to bear arms. And that all changed in 2008 in a decision by Justice Scalia called District of Columbia versus Heller, where the court held that the Second Amendment does indeed protect an individual right to bear arms, at least a handgun, for self-defense inside the home. And then 2 years later, in 2010, in McDonald versus City of Chicago, the Supreme Court says that this right applies not only to the federal government, but also to the state governments and restricts state regulations of gun ownership, at least to the extent they involve guns inside the home. Now, the question after that was whether the Second Amendment did more than that. The Supreme Court declined to hear Second Amendment cases for many, many years. But finally, in the Bruen case, the court did decide a Second Amendment case on the merits. Now, the case itself involved a New York licensing scheme, and there were some indications that the Supreme Court would issue a narrow decision. Those challenging the licensing scheme asked the Supreme Court to decide if there is a Second Amendment right to bear arms outside the home, which would be a large extension of the Heller and McDonald decisions. And the Supreme Court did not grant certiorari on that issue. The Supreme Court said, no, we're going to figure out if this licensing scheme makes it too difficult for you, the litigants, to get a gun license. And yet the Supreme Court did not issue that narrow decision. Not only did the Supreme Court strike down New York's licensing program, but the court very clearly held that there is now a right to keep and bear arms outside the home.
So, Erwin, how did the court analyze those questions and reach that decision?
The Supreme Court 6-3 declared the New York law unconstitutional. Justice Thomas wrote the opinion for the court. He said that the Second Amendment protects a right to have guns outside the home. This includes a right to have concealed weapons. He said that state laws like New York's that give discretion to licensing officials as whether to give permits for having concealed weapons are unconstitutional. But I think the larger significance of the case is what the court said in terms of how judges are to evaluate state laws that regulate guns. Most circuits had adopted a two-step approach in evaluating firearm regulations. Justice Thomas explicitly rejected that. Some had likened it to intermediate scrutiny.
That test or
Thomas
a
said
bunch of
it didn't
horseshit.
provide sufficient protection of Second Amendment rights.
This shit slows
He
down. I
also
got my cigarette
rejected
poked out the
this
side of my
strict
mouth. Look like a
So
fucking
we're not going to look
bulldog.
to whether there's a compelling interest, where the means are necessary. He said it's entirely to be historical analysis in deciding what gun regulations are allowed. Let me quote his words. He said, "Only if a firearm regulation is consistent with this nation's historical tradition may a court conclude that an individual's conduct falls outside the Second Amendment's command." He said, "The Second Amendment is the very product of an interest balancing by the people, and it truly elevates above all other interests the right of law-abiding citizens to use arms for self-defense. So the only question for courts in evaluating regulation of firearms is it a type of law that was historically allowed?"
So, Tara, there were 3 concurring opinions. What points did they bring up and emphasize?
So I think the most important concurrence was that by Justice Kavanaugh, which was joined by Chief Justice Roberts. And that concurrence said that the majority's opinion is important, but it's not going to call into question a lot of state laws, including a lot of state licensing laws. And the concurring opinion seems to be designed to reassure us that not many state laws will be struck down. It's not clear that's entirely consistent with the majority's approach to the Second Amendment. Justice Alito's opinion seemed to be largely a response to the dissenting opinions, which he said did not take seriously enough the importance of gun ownership to the individuals who care about self-defense in this country. And finally, Justice Barrett's concurrence was a little more academic, and she noted one of the questions going forward is how the historical analysis should be done. So she noted that there's a question whether the courts should look to the scenario around this 1789 or 1791 when the Second Amendment was created and ratified, or around the time of the adoption of the 14th Amendment when the Due Process Clause was created and ratified, at least to the extent that we're talking about state regulations. And this could be very complicated because the gun regulations in effect in the 18th century versus the 19th century could be very different. Justice Barrett says this doesn't matter for this particular case, but could be important going forward.
So, Tara, you mentioned the dissent.
Well, the
Can you
freaking
talk about that a
California
little bit
Court of
and how
Appeals does
it saw the
not
issue
like
differently?
to put
So the dissenting opinion noted that gun
their
regulation is
cases,
extremely complicated and depends
the video of their
tremendously
cases up.
by state. Different states may need different kinds of safety measures. And Justice
Yeah,
Breyer
Warren
said,
Live,
in order to allow states the wiggle room that they need to protect their citizens, we should apply something more akin to intermediate scrutiny, as the lower courts had been doing up until Bruin. That allows some protection for the individual right to bear
hearings.
arms, but also allows courts to take into account the need of the governments to regulate firearms in a given context. And so Justice Breyer said a good deal more should be left to the political process.
So, Erwin, what are the implications for the lower courts?
I think they're enormous. On the one hand, this decision is narrow. All the court holds is that state laws that regulate concealed weapons by giving discretion to licensing officials whether to give concealed weapons permits are unconstitutional. On the other hand, the implications of what the court says with regard to how to evaluate gun regulations are broad. The court says gun regulations are permissible only if they were historically allowed in 1791 or maybe 1868. The court was explicit in saying the Second Amendment protects a right to have weapons that didn't exist in 1791, just like the First Amendment protects the right of media that didn't exist in 1791. And so I think this
Everything is
opens the
about-
court as a challenge to countless federal, state, and local gun regulations, with the inquiry for the courts having to be, is this analogous to the type of regulation that existed long ago?
Damn, I ain't gonna get no fucking sleep.
What about you, Tara?
I agree. This creates a somewhat nightmarish scenario for the lower federal courts. The lower courts, along with government lawyers, have to do an incredible amount of historical research case by case. And lower courts have larger caseloads in the United States Supreme Court. The Supreme Court enjoys discretionary jurisdiction. The lower federal courts
Yeah,
have to hear
freak, you
every
ain't
case that
wrong.
comes before them. And they don't have as many law clerks or as many other resources as the US Supreme Court does. And in a given case, the lower
We
courts
have
are being asked to do historical work that could take an
gotten
academic as many
far
as 2
away from
years or
our
more
roots.
to figure out. And I think that's going to be extremely complicated. I also think there's no guarantee, as the majority thinks, that this approach is going to protect Second Amendment rights. I think that different judges are going to see analogies in different ways. And how does one draw analogies to, for example, the modern day subway? How does one draw an analogy even to public schools that did not exist
These
in
people are
certainly the
fucking
18th
insane.
century or very many places in the 19th century? I think different judges are going to see those issues differently, and we're going to have quite a patchwork of Second Amendment jurisprudence.
Oops, sorry. Didn't mean to do
Thank
that.
you both for lending your great expertise and helping us understand this decision. And I look forward to talking with you about it more in the future.
Public hearing, public
Thank you.
hearing. Let's see, I'm gonna play.
With mass shootings increasing like never before, calls have gotten louder for a national assault weapons ban.
President
And
Biden
this is
raised the
about
idea of trying to pass an
Benitez.
assault weapons ban
I was
after two
looking
mass
to
shootings in a
find.
week, but he'll likely face an uphill battle in Congress.
Nah, freak, dude, you're
California's
fine,
way
man.
ahead of the curve. Back
Um,
in 1989,
I've been
the
ranting
state
all
adopted the
goddamn
country's
day.
first assault weapons ban. With a few exceptions, it made the sale, transfer, manufacturing, and importation of all semi-automatic rifles illegal. But after
I'm
the
about to
recent
crash
mass
in just a
shootings
minute. I'm
in
gonna let
Monterey
this
Park
play
and
for a
Half
minute,
Moon
though.
Bay, California's ban is
Gonna
facing renewed scrutiny
Drink another
by
beer.
a federal
and
judge who's tried to overturn the law.
In his ruling, the U.S.
crash in a
District
minute.
Judge wrote, like the Swiss Army knife, the popular AR-15 rifle is a perfect combination of home defense weapon and homeland defense equipment.
For years, Judge Roger T. Benitez has been at the center of challenges and appeals to the state's assault weapons ban. And now he could issue another major blow to California's landmark gun law. I'm Gustavo Arellano. You're listening to The Times, essential news from the LA Times. It's Wednesday, March 15th, 2023. Today, how one judge has usurped California's efforts to restrict guns and how recent challenges to California's assault weapons ban could potentially
Yeah, this
weaken
one, man,
national
I'm just,
efforts at
like I
gun
said, I'm
control.
just goofing off. So I'm just basically
My
chilling
LA Times
before I
colleague
go
Laura J.
crash.
Nelson is an investigative and enterprise reporter who profiled Judge Benitez in 2021, along with Christina Davis, who's currently the enterprise editor at the San Diego Union Tribune.
I'll be back in a
Laura,
sec.
welcome to the Times.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so this judge, who is he?
So, Roger Benitez grew up in Havana, Cuba, in an upper middle class family, and he came to the U.S. through Operation Peter Pan, which was this U.S.-backed effort to get children out of Cuba after Fidel Castro came to power. And Benitez's family eventually followed him to the U.S., and they settled in the Imperial Valley in California. He went to high school in El Centro, and then he went to night school at San Diego State University while driving a tractor on his father-in-law's farm. He became a lawyer, then he became a federal magistrate, and then under President George W. Bush, he was nominated to the Southern District of California bench, the federal bench, in the early 2000s. During that nomination process in 2003, the American Bar Association gave Benitez a not qualified rating. It's very rare. Since 1989, the group has only found about 1% of its candidates for the federal judiciary to be unqualified.
What were their issues with him?
So the ABA investigates, basically does a profile of every candidate for the federal judiciary.
Yeah, you mean the American Bar Association.
Yeah, they take this very seriously because the judiciary is a lifetime appointment. And when the ABA investigated Benitez, they found that the California legal community, so lawyers, had deep concerns about Benitez's judicial temperament and his courtroom demeanor. The California lawyer who conducted the investigation told the Senate Judiciary Committee in 2004 that, quote, All too frequently, while on the bench, Judge Benitez is arrogant, pompous, condescending, impatient, short-tempered, rude, insulting, bullying, unnecessarily mean, and altogether lacking in people skills.
These fucking
Wow.
people are insane.
And yet he was confirmed.
He was confirmed. So he got over that hurdle. He was confirmed by the Senate. And after that happened, I think after that kind of brush with notoriety, he kept a really low profile for more than a decade,
And it's
handling
kind of
just kind of
bouncing back and
routine
forth in between
drug and
tabs.
immigration cases, which are the types of cases that the San Diego federal court typically deals with.
Your profile showed how Judge Benitez, though, became a favorite of lawyers who wanted less restrictions when it came to firearms. And so they would try to get their cases argued before him. How did that reputation happen?
So Benitez has a pretty expansive view of the Second Amendment. He really came to the fore of the gun debate in the last couple of years. In 3 cases in 3 years, he has made really like seismic rulings that have upended California's longtime gun laws. That started in 2019 when he blocked a ban on magazines that hold more than 10 bullets. The following year, in 2020, he knocked down a law that had been approved by California voters that required background checks to buy ammunition. And in 2021, this is perhaps his best known decision. He overturned California's longstanding ban on assault weapons. He called the law, which had been signed into law in 1989 by Republican Governor George Deukmejian, a quote, failed experiment. That case started when a group of gun owners in San Diego sued over the state's assault weapon ban, saying it violated their Second Amendment rights. In that case, which is often called Miller v. Bonta, Benitez compared the AR-15 rifle to a Swiss Army knife, calling it, quote, good for both home and battle.
Wait, a Swiss Army knife?
That's right. He's basically arguing that the AR-15 is the ideal gun because it can be used for anything you need it to be used for. Home defense, homeland defense, militia use, it fits in all those cases.
As opposed to, say, the Colt 45? All right, I guess.
I mean, it was probably the thing that many listeners will remember hearing about this decision when it was released. It's the opening paragraphs of his decision, and it's really a salvo for
We switched to
kind
where
of the laws that
okay,
California
as
has
opposed
held
to
dear
a
in
Colt
terms of gun
45.
control. A really kind of an in-your-face type of decision.
Okay,
And while
dickhead.
Judge Benitez was
This is
issuing
a
all
Colt
these
45.
rulings, like the first time that he overturned California's assault weapons ban in 2021,
1911.
what was happening at the national level?
This is a
So last
handgun.
summer, the Supreme Court, which now has a 6-3 conservative majority, struck down New York's concealed carry law, which required that people show, quote, proper cause in order to receive a permit to carry a concealed weapon. And the court said that that restriction was unconstitutional.
The Supreme Court's so-called Bruin decision in a New York case has changed the test that lower courts had used for evaluating challenges to firearm restrictions. Judges should no longer consider whether the law serves public interest, such as the enhancement of public safety. Legal experts say there is so much confusion.
Let me pause this for a sec. So let me. I went over this earlier more in depth. So here's the deal with the Second Amendment. It doesn't have anything to do with self-defense. Nothing at all whatsoever. The Second Amendment was a limit that our founders put on the federal government that said the federal government had no power whatsoever to regulate the arms that were held inside of the states, because those arms were a check on federal power and they were a check on state powers. So the only thing the Second Amendment does is it restricts the federal government from regulating arms. It's the reason you have a federal constitution and then you have state constitutions. State constitutions, looked at those earlier. State constitutions can lay out the rights of the people inside of these states as far as the arms they can own inside of the states. when you look at the Second Amendment, a well-regulated militia being necessary for a free state, right? Protection over free state, whatever it is. The free state was the state of New York. It was the state of New Jersey. It was the state of Alabama. It was the state that needed to be ready to defend itself from either state infringement on rights, from federal infringement on rights, from a power outside the states coming in to try to restrict people's rights. That's what the Second Amendment laid out. Now we get these dumbass arguments where, oh, the Second Amendment, oh, my personal protection, your right to defend yourself in our founders' time wasn't even a question. They knew 100% you had the right to defend yourself and your property, and you needed weapons to do so. That wasn't even half of a question. One of the quotes that I brought up from one of the founding era leaders, I guess you could say, laid out that the people are the militia, and that, how did he say it? Basically, the oh, fuck it, I'll look it up real fast. Jesus Christ, I'm about to lose my shit. No, it was, there it is. I ain't using Wikipedia. I'm not using that. Okay. So I'll get back to this other tab. I didn't plan on doing this, but hell, I'm streaming on Rumble. So, so this is a guy, he was part of the founding generation. So he says, who are the militia? Are we not ourselves? In other words, are we the people, not the militia? Is it feared then that we shall turn our arms, each man against his own bosom? In other words, are we to be afraid that we're going to use these weapons on each other? Which, for the most part, we're not. There are criminals. There are people that would seek to rob us and harm us, and we need weapons to defend ourselves against them. Again, that's not part of the Second Amendment. That's just our natural rights. Congress have no power to disarm the militia. Their swords and every other terrible implement of the soldier are the birthright of an Americans. So the wording's a little bit different back then. You got to figure this was 17 something. But listen to what this guy says. If you have any question about arms or anything like that, their swords and every other terrible implement of the soldier are the birthright of Americans. These are guys that saw cannons rip people apart. These are guys that saw explosive, 6-pound mortar shells launched into groups of soldiers. These guys knew what warfare was and how terrible weapons could be, destroying the human body. And these guys flat out said that the people, us, should be able to own all of these weapons, no matter how terrible they are. And by terrible, they meant frightful, destructive. These guys weren't bullshitting around
Right now,
talked about
they
this stuff.
expect the Supreme Court
Right.
will have to step in again.
So after that ruling, which is called the Bruin decision, the Ninth Circuit vacated Benitez's decision on the assault weapon ban, writing at that time that their decision was, quote, consistent with the United States Supreme Court's decision.
Yeah, Article 1,
That
Section
ruling may come
27.
any
Yep.
day now.
In Alabama, I think it's Article 1,
Coming up after
Section
the break,
26,
how
something
the
like
Supreme
that.
Court decision about New York's gun laws created national ramifications.
Yeah, we talked
including
about.
here in California.
So, get this, and I'm going to let this play, and I'm going to drink another beer. But get this. So, California's Constitution doesn't have any provision for citizens to own arms. Okay. But California's Constitution also doesn't have any provision that I have read that gives the state of California, that gives the state the power to regulate the arms that the people in the state can have. So, in other words, it's kind of null on both sides. It may not enumerate the right of the people to own arms in California, but it also doesn't explicitly say that the government has the right to regulate those arms. So, in a constitutional, these are the rules, this is laid out, this is what government can do, this is what the people can do. In that context, the state of California, understand, can eat a big fat sack of dicks. Little ones, big ones, white ones, black ones, yellow ones, green ones. They can eat them with a fox. They can eat them wearing socks. They can eat them on a plane. They can eat them on a train. They can just eat a big fat sack of dicks. They have no right to strip the people in their state of arms. That means any arms, period. Not the arms that they have on their body, not the arms that they have that are bearable arms. Yes, the state of California has no right to strip the people of arms. And the federal government has no right whatsoever to regulate the arms that are owned by those in the states. You guys would have to, fuck man, I've been going at this forever tonight. You guys would have to go back and look at some of the things I covered tonight. There's a case, Supreme Court case from 1870 something. And it flat out says in that case that the federal government, the Congress, has no right to regulate arms at all. None. Zero, zilch, nada. Not a bit. They don't have that right. They don't have that power. I'm still playing.
To understand this new landscape of
Yeah, there
gun
we
laws,
go.
we spoke to attorney Margaret J. Finnerty, who wrote about the decision's impact for the New York State Bar Association News Center and Journal. Margaret, welcome to the Times.
Thank you. Good to be here.
What was the New York concealed carry law that was at the center of the Supreme Court Bruin decision?
Well, it was a law, interestingly, that had been on the books for well over 100 years. And it said that in order for an individual to be able to carry a concealed weapon on their person in New York State, they had to prove that there was proper cause in order for them to have a license issued. They really needed to show a very
Proper
specific
cause, my
need that
ass.
just went beyond the desire to have a weapon for personal safety. And as a result, it was difficult for many people to get this license. And not very many people in the state, compared to other states, were allowed to actually carry a concealed weapon on their person in New York.
A law that's over 100 years old. Wow. So the Supreme Court overturned this law, what's known now as a Bruin decision. What ramifications did it have for how judges should interpret the Second Amendment?
So the Supreme Court said that this requirement that an individual must prove proper cause in order to get a concealed carry license was unconstitutional, and it violated the United States Second Amendment in our Constitution. They said that this was just too.
No, the proper cause doesn't violate the Second Amendment. It violates the state constitution that prohibits the state from controlling arms. See, the federal constitution only governs federal matters, and the federal constitution basically says that the federal government has no right to control arms. So this doesn't even make it to the federal level because this is a state matter. Fucking, oh, Jesus Christ. I have a damn aneurysm. I'm about to fucking snap.
Too subjective, and it was too restrictive, and it prevented a law-abiding citizen who would have an ordinary self-defense need from exercising their Second Amendment right to keep and bear arms.
What's an ordinary self-defense need?
Basically, what Bruin said is you have the right to protect yourself in public. So you shouldn't have to show a proper cause, which is something that, is very subjective on the part of the regulators. You have the right to carry this weapon in public. States can impose restrictions, but they have to be consistent with the historical analysis of our nation's history. Now, what the judge said is sometimes things have changed, so that looking back to the past, you may have to rule by analogy. You may have to use some analogical reasoning. So you've got to look at what is common usage in our country. And I think the court was allowing for, just because you didn't have assault weapons back when we wrote the Constitution,
there shouldn't
doesn't
be this
mean that
common usage
maybe you can't
test.
have assault weapons now.
Common usage is horseshit.
Yeah, that's just seems interesting to me. Like trying to make an analogy between, say, the muskets of the American Revolution and the AR-15s of today.
Right. I keep going back to it because it's really hard to make sense of it sometimes. Whether modern and historical regulations impose a comparable burden on the right of armed self-defense, and whether that burden is comparably justified. So, if you say, no, you can't have an assault weapon, is that comparable to the historical regulation when all we were dealing with were muskets, or pistols, dueling pistols?
So have we already seen any more laws overturned because of the Bruin decision, or government officials pushing back against it?
Well, I think you're seeing challenges. New York really sprang into action.
The Bruin decision talked about that. And understand the Bruin decision is horseshit. Because we're still in the Bruin decision, or the NYSERPA case, we're still dealing with this idea that the federal government somehow has the right to restrict arms. And they don't. Doesn't matter dueling pistol or whether it is a gun that takes a 30-round magazine like this. And just for shits and giggles, that is some nice soft point 7.62 by 39 in that mag. Heller, McDonald, Heller 2 are all horse shit cases. Because, again, they're still dealing with this idea that the federal government has the right to somehow regulate arms, and the federal government doesn't. I don't see why, I said it earlier, I don't see why the writings of the founders when they wrote many letters and papers and shit like that, explaining the Second Amendment. I don't see why none of those historical documents have made it into any of these cases. I don't I don't get that. These are historical writings. These are part of the historical record. You can go to the Library of Congress and you can look these letters and these writings up. I mean, they're in the Federalist Papers. They're in the Anti-Federalist Papers. All of them explaining that the federal government has no power to regulate arms whatsoever because the people in the states owning arms is the check on federal power. I don't see that it's that hard. I don't fucking get it. Someone explain this logically to me. I mean, man, I just maybe I'm just an old school cat that still
Actually,
believes in
almost
right and wrong.
immediately, the state legislature and the governor enacted
I
a
still
law
believe
called the
in
Concealed Carry
concepts like
Improvement Act,
honor.
which limited the places where you could actually carry a weapon in a concealed manner. And it included houses of worship and schools and federal and state office buildings. It also included Times Square. So New York reacted by passing several laws that would restrict the locations. And they also, interestingly, beefed up the licensing requirements to get a concealed carry permit. You now need to have character references. They get to look at your social media. You have to take extensive training.
Yeah, you ain't wrong,
And we're
Taco.
seeing other challenges as well to laws that exist, such as assault weapon bans. As I don't have to tell you in California what's happening there. So I think that
And if we don't
with
pay
the
attention to
current
this, one
makeup
day
of
it
the
won't
Supreme
exist.
Court, a lot of people will see this as an opportunity to push back on gun regulations that exist
100%,
throughout the
Taco.
entire country.
Margaret, thank you so much for this conversation.
You're very welcome.
Coming up after the break, the state of California's gun laws with Judge
These,
Benitez and after
these
two
people
horrific
know
shootings.
exactly what they're doing by pushing this idea of democracy. Democracy sounds great, but democracy at its core is mob rule. And that's what
Now,
they
Laura,
want.
Judge Benitez's rulings seem to consistently overturn any gun control laws that come before him. So why and how, really, does he keep getting these important cases involving firearms?
It was purely random. In 2017, Benitez was assigned randomly the lawsuit that challenged California's ban on magazines holding more than 10 bullets. After that, he got 3 more Second Amendment cases in the next 2 years because of what's called the related case rule, which allows either side in a lawsuit to request that the case be heard by a judge with previous experience on that topic.
Yeah, gun control is just such a political issue in this country. So how do people on both sides of the issue see Judge Benitez?
Well, he's an object of hatred and of adoration. Gun rights groups have really hailed Benitez for what they see as an honest, clear-eyed approach to the law and his insistence in case after case that government lawyers actually prove that gun control measures work.
Just want some Motrin.
He's very popular among gun owners who follow Second Amendment news. You can buy St. Benitez t-shirts and prayer candles and stickers that show him wearing robes and a halo. There are memes with Benitez's face on it that circle in gun groups. One of them says, "Blessed are thee among jurists, and blessed the fruit of your gavel." But he's far less popular with advocates for stricter gun laws.
You
When
fucking
Benitez
think?
overturned the assault weapon ban in 2021, Governor Gavin Newsom excoriated him as a, quote, stone cold ideologue and a wholly owned subsidiary of the gun lobby and the National Rifle Association.
It's like I'm a son of a judge. I am very cautious when it comes to attacking judicial decisions. But I sat back and watched decision after decision after decision with Judge Benitez. He's unserious.
Advocates who support stricter gun laws have argued that gun rights groups are judge shopping, specifically filing these Second Amendment cases in Benito.
The anti-gun crowd goes judge shopping all the time. That's why they bring up certain cases in, say, the Ninth Circus. Other people know that as the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, which tends to be very left-leaning. These motherfuckers, man, I swear to God, anything that the left accuses you of is the shit they're actually doing. Once you realize that, it makes life so much easier to understand. It makes it more of a fucking headache, though.
Benitez's district in order to try and get their case heard by a more favorable judge.
Yeah, and
Bacon,
what
what's
you were
up,
saying,
brother?
the related case rule, but it sounds like what some people call judge shopping. Does that happen often?
So I don't think that lawyers on either side would agree with the characterization of it as judge shopping. That's very much seen as kind of a derogatory description of what lawyers do,
Yeah.
but it is
Rules
very
for
much
radicals,
part of the legal
100%.
game for lawyers to try to get their cases in front of judges who they think will give them a more favorable hearing. I mean, that's really just part of the process
That's
when it comes
100%
to
what it is rules for
shepherding your
radicals.
client and the case through the court system. So in this case, gun groups are being criticized for judge shopping in front of Judge Benitez or trying to get Second Amendment rights. Many cases heard by him, but honestly, it's something that happens all the time at all levels of the judiciary.
At least she's
Do we
honest
know
about
how
that.
Judge Benitez feels about the Second Amendment? Because obviously he's overturning these laws, but has he ever said anything to the effect, I'm just following the letter of the law, or I love guns, everyone should have guns?
Well, we don't know a lot about Benitez's personal views. This is true of many federal judges, even though they have, a big influence on U.S. policy. Many of them are really quite behind the scenes, and that's been the case with Benitez as well. So we know that he himself is a gun owner, like millions of other Americans. But what we know about his view on guns and the Second Amendment specifically, that comes from his rulings issued from the bench. In his decision that overturned the assault weapons ban, he called that law a failed experiment. He also tried to argue that an AR-15 being used in a mass shooting is a, quote, infinitesimally rare event, saying that more people have died from the COVID vaccine than mass shootings in California, which is a talking point that mirrors what circulated widely in right-wing media, including on Fox News. He also wrote, as we talked about earlier, that the ban violates the Second Amendment because it could force militias, both citizen militias and state-run militias, to settle for less than ideal weapons rather than the ideal AR-15 rifle. He said, quote, that may not be a severe burden today when the need for the militia is improbable. One could say the same thing about the improbable need for insurance policies. California policy director for the Giffords Law Center described that line as a, quote, new and deeply disturbing line of thinking. He told me that if we take that line of thinking seriously, then there's no limiting principle on the types of firearms that people should be allowed to possess, including tanks, anti-aircraft missiles, and machine guns.
Yes.
So is there any expectation that Judge Benitez is going to uphold California's assault weapons bans, given his previous records?
Given his track record, I think it's most likely that he will overturn the law again.
And that decision might come any day now. But finally, this decision will come in a year where we had back-to-back mass shootings in California. How does your reporting on Judge Benitez inform the strategies that gun rights and gun control proponents take in changing the laws?
So gun rights proponents in California say those recent mass shootings are proof that California's strategy on gun control has not worked.
Democrats don't want to address the consistent, proven, empirical failure of gun control laws. They don't work, and they make crime worse. But they also want to scapegoat law-abiding citizens.
Gun safety groups, meanwhile, have already begun mobilizing to get more laws and better enforcement on the books.
We're saving lives, but we have more work to do. And this is part of this effort.
And as my colleague Kevin Rector has reported, even in the first month alone after the Bruen decision, the war on California's gun laws has really gotten a shot in the arm from the Bruin decision and has forced lower courts, including Benitez's court, to reconsider a whole host of legal challenges that a couple of years ago might not have stood muster.
Laura J. Nelson, thank you so much for this conversation.
Thanks for having me.
All right, just because I got a beer to finish. Where was I at? Let's see. I just typed in Judge Benitez cases. Let's see. All it's about. Let's listen to this one.
Hi, this is Danger Man, the urban superhero, and this is another Danger Man moment. This is federal judge Roger Benitez. Okay. This judge should, as of the day, he needs to step down and resign his judgeship. He ruled yesterday on these AR-15s, all right, and he's turning the ban back. There was a ban on these that was put in place 32 years ago, a big shooting, a massive amount of people shot at a school on the playground.
And this dude's showing a fucking Glock.
And so this judge,
shall we comment on this video?
Turn this ban and back and compared an AR-15 to a Swiss Army knife. Oh my God. Okay. And he cares nothing about the American citizens and about human life. This judge is the same judge that banned some extended, turned around and banned on extended clips. Okay. And it's all about the Second Amendment, which we know.
Yeah, we're gonna leave him a little comment.
Is not really worth the paper that it's on. Okay. We have had too many Americans that have died and continue to die every day.
Please,
okay.
Please.
And so this judge needs to resign his judgeship and go play golf or something to be of more value. Okay. Because the seat that he's taken up, somebody who really cares about America could be in that seat and making some good
bad part is
decisions.
this dude actually has 3 fucking likes
have
on this
value
video.
About Americans. Okay.
And he has over
but this is
almost
this is
3,000
ridiculous,
subscribers.
Okay? To compare a knife,
522 views,
Swiss knife, to a killing machine.
3 likes.
Okay. And all of these weapons, these semi-automatics, the AR-15s, the AKA-47s, they should be, they all should be banned.
He's wearing that.
Because people are
I
dying.
don't think his
All right?
videos are
These are
getting
not the kind of
much
weapons
of
you use
good
when
reception.
you're going hunting. Okay. They're assault weapons. They're assault weapons. They were created
Did he answer
to
this
kill and kill at a high rate. Okay. And so we
Hundreds
got to
of
find a
Americans
way
shot every day.
to get those people out of office who don't care about our children and our communities.
This guy's getting
and our
ratioed to fucking hell
people
and back.
dying, okay. So this judge Robert Benitez.
No one should have these
I'm gonna
weapons.
send him
We
an
need to
official
figure
letter
that out.
that he's fired. Okay.
These
I
are
pay
weapons
his
of mass
salary, I pay
destruction.
taxes. Yeah. So you're fired, judge. Okay. Yeah. Go back, go play golf or something. All right. So anyway, this is very disheartening. And we need to call on Congress to do something about the Second Amendment. Okay?
Please,
because when you look at the
someone
Second
tell me
Amendment,
this dude is
it's
trolling.
horrible because people are dying every day And you know, it's just mass killings every day. All right. And
in my ear, I hear the
the
tears of parents who lost their
the numbers they
babies
said is like
in the shootings when this ban was made.
246
I hear the
mass
tears of
shootings
future
so far
mothers
this year.
and fathers.
And
this judge has no
killed
business on the bench.
278 people. Okay.
Fuck me right.
And,
Tell me this dude is trolling.
Wounded over 1,000. Okay. I think there's the numbers. There's some other numbers.
Oh, fuck me. This fucking random TV dude.
More than that, but we got to do something.
Yeah, it's sad. I'm very
And,
sad.
let's
I
just-
see
let's
someone shot.
start with getting
It
this
can't
judge
be
out of office,
prevented.
okay?
Has to
There's
stop.
Danger Man, the urban superhero. There's another Danger Man moment. My organization is called Superheroes Against Gun Violence. Okay. Thank you guys. Take care.
Tell me.
Be safe.
Please.
Okay? Be safe.
Someone tell me this guy is trolling. Please. Someone tell me. Please. For the love of God. Tell me this motherfucker's trolling everybody. Hold on. Because let's look.
This is Danger Man, the urban super.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. Let's look at Danger Man's videos. Da 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 da. Snubbing the Oscars, 3 LAPD officers down, 50K. Is this what I need to do to like break 300 subscribers? Is dress like a douchebag and fucking lie to everybody about gun violence? 43 mass shootings. Danger Man says we need major gun reform. Yeah, let's look at this one.
This is Danger Man, the urban superhero. And this is another.
Yes, we're
Danger
just
Man
trolling the shit right now.
Gun reform. Okay. Not only do we need to reform the police, but we need to reform the way that people have their guns, get their guns.
Someone please tell me
the first
this
thing I would
motherfucker's
do
trolling
is
everybody.
we need a national universal gun licensing. Okay. And then we need to do something about what you don't want to hear is the Second Amendment.
50 views.
Because a lot of people
1
have the
thumbs
Second
up.
Amendment confused. All right. And, you know, because there's like 400 million guns in this country. And every day people are buying more guns. But every day we have these mass shootings, which are 4 or more people. Okay. And every day people are getting shot. We have a right, because I've been talking about this for a long time. We have a right to life. Okay. We have a right to go to the store. We have a right to go to the cleaners, to the movie theater, to restaurants, to the shopping centers, to the malls without getting shot. We have a right to do that before this right about having a gun, like having a gun. So, you know, we really need to look at that because there's so many guns out here that people can just without doesn't have really anything to do with a background check. Some person goes home, doesn't like what their neighbor is doing. They just pull up their gun, which they've had for however long, and shoot them. That's not America. That's not what we want. Okay. We need to make America safer. And if it means rewriting the Second Amendment, then that's what we need to do.
The drugs can't kick in fast enough.
Don't take this wrong, but the Republican lawmakers need to experience some kind of gun trauma in their lives. Okay, then they'll understand what it's like.
So
okay?
Steve Scalise
every day,
getting
every
shot
morning,
down
wake
on a
up,
ball
oh,
field.
God, who got shot last night? Okay, so
that wasn't some Republican
find out how
experiencing
we
gun
can make
violence.
America safe again. All right, You guys take care.
So
it's Danger Man Urban Superhero, and this is another Danger Man moment.
we're gonna stay on Danger Man for a minute or two while I finish up a smoking a beer before I crash. Let me explain something to you, Danger Man. There have been people very close to me that have experienced gun violence. My dad was robbed at gunpoint one morning, just headed to work. A young man that I went to church with when I was actually going to church got shot by a bunch of people just going out to check his fucking mail. His name was Dion. Had some developmental issues. Very special young man. Killed for fucking nothing. Just because someone wanted to take his shit. I remember hearing the shit on the news. Heard his name. Called my mom. I asked her, is that the Dion we know? Yeah, it was him. I was ready to smash the fucking world. I didn't know what to do with myself. But I didn't want to ban guns. I wanted the people who did the shit put in fucking prison for the rest of their goddamn natural born lives, or hooked to a fucking 220 circuit and fucking fried. You could ban every single gun in America. Period. Poof. Guns all gone. The only thing you're going to do is make the criminal with the bigger club or the bigger knife the most dangerous individual. That means people that are old, fat, out of shape like me. I'm going to be basically defenseless against the dude with the bigger knife or the bigger club. That means women, like my wife, are going to be defenseless against that 6 foot and some change, 285-pound brute of a man. Fuck nuts. If I was that goddamn stupid, I'd probably wear a fucking outfit too, so no one could recognize my ass. Fuck me. This dude's got to be a goddamn government employee. And this is coming from someone I actually do work for the state. But fuck me, I'm not that goddamn stupid. Let's see. Fuck me. Let's see what old Danger Man's got to say. Fucking Danger Man. Fucking fuck me running. I would love to have a conversation with this motherfucker. Danger Man, the urban superhero. Let's see. What other one looks good? Danger Man. Let's see what this one.
This is Danger Man, the urban superhero, and this is another Danger Man moment. This is entitled For Copycats. Copycats, you know who you are. You are the ones that when you see a shooting in the news, shooting, killing 4 or 5 different people, you grab a gun and you go shoot a bunch of people for no reason at all, just because you saw it on TV or in the news. In this last Monterey Park shooting where 10 people were shot, 10 were killed and 10 were wounded, then the very next day in Moonlight Bay,
no, I don't
person
know.
Goes
Danger Man
and
lives.
shoots
He
7
resides
people.
in a state of fucking delusion.
2 different locations.
Well, the
Okay,
state is
what is that
forbidden.
about? Why'd you have to be
mental
a copycat?
retardation.
He's gone now, but he was a copycat. All right. So when you see copy something that is educational or something that is worthwhile or something that's going to help society. Okay, you see somebody giving food away to the homeless, go give food away to the homeless. You see somebody trying to keep the park clean, go keep the park clean. But to go do a mass shooting because you see somebody else do one, that's ridiculous and that's stupid. Okay, like in this Moonlight Bay shooting. The very next day, I'm sure he didn't plan that months away, and all of a sudden he saw this and decided to do it. You know, don't let anybody put thoughts in your head. Do good things, good deeds, good thoughts. And more than anything else, y'all stop shooting folks, okay? You're messing up the world, all right? This is Danger Man, the Urban Superhero. This is another Danger Man moment. You guys be safe.
I need to nickname myself fucking Super Dave and tell everybody I do all my own goddamn stuff.
The original. Thank you.
This is what I'm fucking missing. You know, Risky Krisky wears a mask. Danger Man's got a mask. Yeah, I could probably put my hands on a mask decently quick. Maybe that's what I need to do. I wonder how fast I can put my hands on that. Fuck, it's already 3:30. I'm going to go for just another minute or two without I got to crash. Corn Pop, I don't think his costume fits into the category of cool. Yeah. Man, what's he talking about here?
Hi, this is Danger Man, the Urban Superhero, and this is another Danger Man moment. This has got to stop. There was yesterday, I believe it was, here in Los Angeles,
Oh, well, he's in Los Angeles,
which was speeding, ran a red light, ran into this car. There was a family, I think four in the car, killed the 13-year-old teenager, and left this little baby on life support, okay? This is horrible. The person left the scene as usual and left these people, okay? My heart goes out to this family. This is so horrible. If you know anything about this, I think there's a reward offered, then contact.
Shut the fuck up. What's he saying here?
This is Danger Man, the Urban Superhero, and this is another Danger Man moment. Well, it took 15 votes over 4 days for the Republicans to come up with their leader for the House. I was reminded that this was like the clown house, not the House of Representatives, because nothing like this has happened since the Civil War. Now, what are you going to tell your kids? Your kids are going to know, Mommy and Daddy, what happened? What's going on? Can't these people agree on anything? Are these the people that are going to be running our government? Okay. So guys, you know, look at this.
You want to tell my kids about these people who represent us?
The Republican Party.
They're a bunch of power-hungry
sound
tyrants
leadership,
with
leadership
no honor.
that cares about America. Okay, that cares about government for the people. Okay, and so yeah, that's what we need. Okay, we don't need these shenanigans and people talk about fighting and screaming and all this. It's just not the way that our government should run. So take some time, please talk to your kids because they're going to want to know. I've had some young
Yeah,
people,
he
some
probably
nieces
does
I've
have
met
Danger
the last
Man
couple
in
of
his
days wanting to
grinder
know,
bio.
Danger Man, what is going on? Why are they
Barebacking.
why are they acting like this? Okay, is this the seat of government? Yes, we need good people in government, people who care about this wonderful country of ours, the United States of America, and people who know who are going to do right, who aren't going to lie, okay, and who are going to tell the truth and make a difference. That's what we need, okay? So, all right, guys, this is Danger Man, the Urban Superhero. It's the weekend, this Saturday.
This dude
the
says this,
7th
and I will
of January.
guarantee
Time
you
is
he's
moving quick.
voting Democrat.
So let's get it done, okay?
Let's see. What else can Danger Man come up with? Excuse you. Well, let's see what he says about the State of the Union. This ought to be interesting.
Hi, this is Danger Man, the Urban Superhero, and this is another Danger Man moment. This is my comments after hearing the State of the Union by President Joe Biden, the oldest president of the United States, but in my record, the best president, or one of the best presidents of the United
That
States.
makes me absolutely.
It was a very rousing and giving speech. The president ensured us and covered all the bases.
He's got to be trolling. He's got to be.
And
he's
yes,
got to be trolling.
I am a Democratic superhero. Okay. And I've been around for a long time. I've seen many presidents, heard there.
He's got to be trolling.
President Joe Biden and the Democrats. The Republicans really don't care about urban people, Black Americans. And this is a crucial time where we must stand together with our leaders,
the drugs can't
President Joe Biden and the White House, to help make America really better. Drugs, guns, these are, and the crime message, you know, the crime that's going on. We all have to work together to eliminate these things.
Yeah, Mike McLean. Next person that says shenanigans. Hey, what's that restaurant you like? Shenanigans.
I'm looking forward to
what he say?
President Biden running again.
He said,
I will be there to support and education of our children is one of the first things on my mind and my heart. Then along with the gun violence, saving lives, and the drug problem. They were here, these problems were here before Joe Biden came in office. And we as a people,
dude, Joe Biden's been in office
as a community, have to work
for longer than I have been alive
to bring it to a halt,
fucking years
to help make America better. So that's what I got to say. Let's move on. Oh, I wanted to comment. I mean, oh man, the Republicans acted like buffoons. There's one thing about commenting, making comments, but then when you heckle the president of the United States and you act like children, that is unacceptable. The Republicans are always known for shouting out and doing rude and nasty behavior. Okay. And you could see it tonight and hear their attitudes. Okay. you know, when you look at some of them, this Marjorie Taylor Brown or Green, and that other Joe Santos, you know, this kind of behavior is not the kind of behavior that we want to recommend for our children. We want to give our children
he
great
believes
role
in
models
bullshit.
in which to follow and be
Despite
like.
my
okay?
comment I just left on this
Not
video,
the kind of
say,
behavior
please God tell
tonight.
me you're a
It
troll.
was just totally unacceptable and rude. Okay, so that's what I think about that. All right. So anyway, this Danger Man, Urban Superhero. It's been another Danger Man moment, and don't forget to go to my channel and check out the new episodes of my crime series, Danger Man Returns. It's at dangermanreturns.com. dangermanreturns.com. Okay, rated PG-13. You can check out my new music. Okay, and the tour that our new tour that we're embarking on called Danger Man's Books, Not Bullets. Okay, so thank you very much. You guys be safe. Watch over your kids.
I'm absolutely hooked
your
on this
mothers and your
dude right
fathers,
now.
your sisters and your brothers.
I was planning on being
And
asleep
let's
like an hour
really
ago.
help make America better. Okay, it takes a village. All right. Anyway, that's all I got tonight. See you guys later. Have
What
a
else?
safe week.
What else does my man? Yeah, close player. What else does my man Danger Man have to say? I'm gonna follow me some Danger Man. Hold on, what's this one?
Hi, this is Danger Man, the urban superhero. And this is another Danger Man moment. Well, it's St. Patty's Day. I want to wish everybody a happy St. Patty's Day. Go drink you some green beer, eat some green candy or green pizza, but celebrate, have some fun, but do it safely, okay? Other part of
The
my message
meatloaf.
is ill-gotten
Hey,
gains.
Ma.
I think that President Biden, Joe Biden, is correct in his report and his concept that the banking professionals, these bank presidents who are making millions of dollars, they should be held responsible for their bank failures. Ill-gotten gains, it's called. Okay, they're going to get gains from these losses or the money
You
that's
guys
coming
watching
in
on
to help
Rumble
their
are
bank.
just here
And
for the
they should
train
not be
wreck.
able to
You
profit
gotta
from it.
be.
Buy them another mansion, buy them another boat, buy them another trip around the world, whatever. Okay, no. So ill-gotten gains, the banking industry, the banking professionals,
Something seriously tells me Danger Man would like to go around the world
they need
with the
to
nearest
lose
transvestite.
their jobs and big time, so that next time it happens, or they will keep a better.
I'm hooked on Danger Man right now.
A more watchful eye on what's going on at their bank. Okay, and be in there. You know, when's the last time some of them been in their offices? Okay. So yeah, it's just not right.
Never mind the
that
fact
all this money should be used to bail them out, and they're not paying any consequence. Okay, so that's what I think today. It's Friday. Happy St. Patty's Day
and all this shit.
And you guys have a
Paved
safe
the
weekend.
way
Be safe.
For
God, there's so much going
banks
on. Just
to
on the
do
news
the
now.
bullshit
A
that
Burger
they're
King
doing.
downtown Los Angeles on Figueroa Street. One dead woman and somebody else shot. You know why? Okay. All right. Then we had a woman that was run over by an SUV. They're looking for that person. Okay. There's so much craziness. It's Friday. It's Friday. I want you guys to be safe. Have a safe weekend.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes open around you. We got to save lives. We got to.
All of you guys have a safe one and keep that thing on you at all
From occurring
times.
every day in our great city. Won't you help me?
See, doing the Joe Biden
Help you.
whisper.
I want to see you Monday morning and not hear about something awful. Okay? Thank you. Love you guys. It's Danger Man, the urban superhero. This is another Danger Man moment.
We're gonna play some more Danger Man. I got another beer I got to drink. We gotta play some more Danger Man. Hold on, let's look at this one.
Hi, this is Danger Man, the urban superhero.
Danger Man is vested up. Damn, should I go get mine? It's laying right over there.
And this is another Danger Man moment. A family of 6 people were killed in Central California, including a baby. Police drove up. They found 2 victims in the street, baby, and I guess the mother who had tried to run from the house. And then in the house, there were 4 other people. We have got.
Okay, I'm pretty sure I know which case he is talking about. And that has everything to do with cartels and open borders, which yo president Danger Man actually supports. I'm not sure if he's wearing the blue gimp mask so he can limp or lube that motherfucker up to get his head up his ass a little easier. Just saying, it could be.
To do something about this gun violence. All right. There are over 300 million gun owners in this country. And we have to make our cities and our towns safer.
Actually, dickhead, there's probably a little over 150 million gun owners in the United States. There are well over 4,500,000, I should say, firearms in the United States. Probably close to 500,000 when you figure in guns like this that are made from parts that I ordered, or guns like this, as a matter of fact, that are also made from parts that I ordered. No FFL, no nothing. This I made this gun. 80% receiver. I crushed every rivet on this gun myself. Clear gun. When you factor in things like that, yeah, there's probably well over 4,500,000 guns in the United States, at least. If guns were the issue, Danger Man, you would know it by now. Studio City, California. Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Danger Man. Fuck me.
Having one of these
this is,
does not make your home safe.
Can you have too much fun?
To increase
No, you can't.
Suicides and domestic violence.
Pulp Fiction, yeah.
And robbery.
Fucking gimp.
What you don't realize is every time a person is shot and killed, the family lineage.
Let me say this. Every time a person is shot and killed, a Democrat gets their position in office, kind of like an angel getting their wings. Oh, fuck me. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, I still got to find the damn video of dust that Crump did or Crump had for me. Oh, I need to find that. I haven't watched that in forever. Son of a bitch, where is that? Should be in my C&T emails. Hold on. Sidetrack. Where the fuck did I do with my email? I wonder if I still fucking have this. Fuck me. Play mail. Okay. Where would this be? John Crump email. Is this it? Hold on. Commander Brown. Hold on. I'm looking, guys. Give me a sec. Is this it? Ah, come on, man. This has got to be it. Son of a bitch. Come on. Crump. Cameo Dust Commander Brown is ready. Come on. What the fuck? I don't fucking remember that shit. Facebook. Email. Son of a bitch. Give me a second. I'm looking. Well, because and now I'm on a fucking mission. Because it should have been there. Hold on, is this it? Okay. So I found it. Where's it at? What did I do with it?
Commander Brown, Detroit Urban Survival Training. Coop, John Crump tells me you're starting a new business. And this is what's important to remember. You're going to be successful. Nothing can stop you. Remember, conceive, believe, achieve. What you conceive affects what you believe, which affects what you achieve. So simply believe, no matter what, that you're going to succeed, and you will. So that's what you're going to think about every day, how you're going to get it done, and nothing can stop you. And that's an intelligent option, which will increase your survivability and your success in life.
Okay. Back to Danger Man. I had to find that. Yeah, back to Danger Man.
Edge stops. Okay. That person, if it's a young person, that limits their chance of having any babies, you know, your family growing.
Fuck,
you won't
man.
have any
Corn Pop, why
grandchildren.
you got to tell me he's the
Okay.
real deal?
Because that young person
That just
was shot and killed.
fuck.
We need to get serious about this. There are people making money on the fact that they can sell these. Okay. All right. And they can make money. Americans are dying every day. Over 40,000 Americans die every day because of gun violence.
No. 40,000 Americans a day. He did. Y'all back me up. He just said 40,000 Americans a day die of gun violence. A day. Hold on, let's see. Since I'm not the greatest mathematician here, let's see. So that's 40,000 times 365. So that would put gun deaths at, let's see, 1, 2. That would put gun deaths at over 1 million, almost 1.5 million gun deaths a year. Am I reading this right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. So Danger Man, that would be roughly 1/3 of the American population dead every year, according to your numbers. Oh, please, God, make it stop. Back to Danger Man. Hold on. We got to do this again.
Commander Brown, Detroit Urban Survival Training. Coop, John.
Oh, shit. Never mind.
John Crump tells me you're starting a new business.
I haven't thought about this in forever.
This is what's important to remember. You're going to be successful. Nothing can stop you. Remember, conceive, believe, achieve.
Believe.
What you conceive affects what you believe, which affects what you achieve.
Whatever.
So
I
simply
conceive.
believe, no matter what, that you're
I
going
haven't
to
conceived
succeed,
anything.
and you
My
will.
wife conceived.
So
Well, I
that's
helped
what
my
you're going
wife
to think about
conceive
every day.
kids.
How you're going to get it done, and nothing can stop you. And that's an intelligent option, which will increase your survivability and your success in life.
All right, back to Danger Man.
And we have got to stop this now. We need to destroy the NRA and stop these Republicans from jumping up and down about owning guns.
Corn Pop, are you sure this dude's not a
their
troll?
right to bear
Are
arms.
you sure?
Take a look at the Second Amendment and find out what it really says. It doesn't say anything about babies and teachers and parents and grandparents and wives and husbands getting shot. America, we got to do better. We got to do better.
Come on, man.
We
This
have
dude's
had
got
73
There's no way.
mass shootings since beginning of January, since the beginning of the year. And mass shootings are described as 4 or more people. Well, we've had a lot more than that. Okay. And we got to stop it, America. Your family member could be next. You could be next. Sad. Okay. Is Danger Man the urban superhero? There's another Danger Man moment.
Okay, so we're asking Danger Man in his
Saturday,
comment section a
18th.
very honest question. Does it hurt to be that
February.
stupid? And
Give you a
yes,
number up.
that's going in his comment section.
Will there be somebody standing out there by your car trying to carjack you or rob you when you're coming in and out of the liquor store or when you're shopping in your favorite department store? Will somebody come in there and just start spraying the area?
Amen.
with
Come
an
on,
automatic
Corn
weapon?
Pop. Why you gotta hurt my head like that?
To prevent that,
Oh,
we need to look
Danger
at
Man,
serious
be a
gun control
catalyst,
to keep
donate now.
Americans safe.
Support the continuing success of
Danger
the
Man,
Danger
Urban
Man
Superhero.
Education Foundation, Inc.
This has been another Danger Man.
in fighting childhood obesity,
Have a safe weekend,
illiteracy,
guys.
supporting healthy and safe lifestyle
Kiss your
choices,
kids, your wife,
and
your
increasing
girlfriend.
access
You may
to
not see 'em
resources for all
They may
children.
become a victim tonight.
Our children are our future. We
Peace.
are fucking doomed. Superheroes Against Gun Violence, Urban Superhero at Gmail. Oh, come on, man. Let's see. So, okay, I read all that. Superheroes Against Gun Violence, coming soon. Danger Man, the Black Superman. I would submit to the class that I've seen plenty of other black men that could be a much better superhero. That is. Oh, my fucking God. We gotta play it.
I've got the perfect person to help you out.
I walked into this theater in Hollywood.
You must be Danger Man. I'm the Hoff.
How good does it get?
I'm Danger Man, the urban superhero, right here in Los Angeles, California. Danger Man, promoting literacy, safety, and good health for children in urban communities.
Thank you very much. This has been Danger Man, the one the buzz is about. And when I come to town, the bad guys creep out. No one can tell you how I do what I do. So watch me and my caution crew break it down for you. Holla.
Yeah, I can, because I believe I can.
Somebody told me, aren't you too old to be a superhero? I was like, you know what? I didn't know they had an age limit on helping children, helping to make the community a better place. All right.
Give yourselves a big hand. Woo! Yeah!
Oh, I
I'm
bet you
hoping
he
to
gives
improve
himself a
myself
big
with
hand.
better
a
ways
lot.
of thinking and making my presentation better to make more of a lasting effect on the young people's lives that I touch. So I look at this as a challenge to myself personally and being able to make this unique opportunity happen. So that's great.
Hey, Danger Man, I am glad to meet you. What a
Oh, my
pleasure.
God.
Thank you, Stan.
And what are you holding?
Stanley.
Is there a comic book about
This
you?
is a comic book, Stan, and I've autographed it to
Oh,
you, buddy.
this has to
bless
be
your
what
heart.
made
my
Stanley
inspiration,
die.
Oh, look at that. To
Yes.
Stan Lee. Thanks for inspiration and
He
support.
left this. In,
Now that is damn nice.
jumped
But let me
out
look
of
at the book. It's
nearest
a good-looking book. Look at that. It's
30-story
cartoony,
building.
but yet it's serious.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Oh,
sir.
I think this is terrific.
Right.
And what is it you specialize in? I had
Stupidity.
heard that you do a lot to fight illiteracy and things of that sort.
Yes, Stan. I promote literacy, safety, and good health for children in urban and underserved communities.
Man, I think that's just terrific. And I guess with this costume, they listen to you and they pay attention to you.
Yes, sir, they do. They really do pay attention to me, and because I'm a really people person. I really love kids, and I'm very passionate about the work that I do.
Well, if you really want to command a room, steal the stage,
I would
and be the center of
probably
attention wherever you go,
submit
I've got
to the class.
perfect person to help you out.
He's a stage,
that if
screen,
Danger
and
Man
singing
went into
legend,
a lot of
and he's listed in the
urban
Guinness Book of
neighborhoods
World
dressed
Records
as he is
the
dressed,
most watched TV star in the
he
world.
would last about
So
3.2
he's one guy
seconds,
who knows
enough
all
time
about
to scream, "Oh
commanding a room.
shit,"
It wasn't
while
easy,
they
but
robbed
at
him and
great
left him for
expense.
dead.
We brought him here, even though you're great at what you do, to help make you even greater.
I appreciate that. I walked into this theater in Hollywood. The stand sent me to. All the lights were off. And then I looked up.
You must be Danger Man. I'm the Hoff.
How good does it get? Go Hall. Stan, you were the man.
Danger Man. Hi, how you doing? David Hasselhoff.
Pleasure to meet you, sir.
Yeah, pleasure
sir.
to meet you.
Thank you.
Mr. Stan Lee tells me you do a lot of work with kids.
Yes, sir, I certainly do. I go to schools and I talk to kids about the dangers and I promote literacy, safety, and good health and try to empower children to live their best life.
And how do the kids respond to you when you speak to them?
Well, they respond real good. I just think I need to improve it a little. And I think that a man with your expertise could help me get more out of the kids.
The theme of Knight Rider was one man can make a difference. Now you got a speech coming up, right?
Yeah, what I really need help with, David, is I got a big speech next week with the Boys and Girls Club, okay? And I really want to get a great, powerful message off to them.
All right, well, you're dressed for it. Show me what you got.
Okay.
Okay, Danger Man. You're on.
Okay. Well, I usually start off and I introduce myself to the kids. I say, I'm Danger Man, the urban superhero. And I'm here to empower you to live your best life through education and by living a healthy lifestyle, to stay away from drugs and gangs and guns and alcohol, and stay in school. Don't be no thug. Don't be no fool. Okay.
Well, Danger Man, I'm going to interrupt you for a second.
Yeah.
I'm going to act like I'm a kid, right? Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to act like I'm a kid, and I'm going to heckle you a little bit because I need you to project more. And you guys say, "Hey, I want you to look at me." Okay. Here's the deal. You got to take over. This is your space. These kids don't give a rat about you. And right now you look like a bird.
Okay.
So you don't want to look like a bird. If you're going to look like a bird, you're going to look like a bird that's going to go,
I couldn't
attack you.
confirm or
Right, so
deny
start
that
off from the very
assumption.
beginning, like you just
Corn
walk
Pop.
in,
Okay.
and I say,
Um,
please welcome Danger Man. Danger
I
Man.
would not
Hey,
be surprised if he was in the
I'm
van
Danger
with
Man,
milk
there
duds
too. Now,
melting
I
in
want you
his
kids
lap.
to pay attention, okay? I'm getting ready to teach you something, okay?
Or he
teach you
really
a lesson,
envied
tell you how to be
Michael
cool
Jackson for
by
having a
being
Ferris
good.
wheel.
Kid, look,
Why you look like a bird?
a bird?
Why you dressed like a bird, Danger Man?
Listen, kid, I'm in control here, all right? You mind your business, okay? Listen to me. All right?
okay.
I'm trying to get a message to your
Yeah,
thick head.
Danger
all right?
Man.
I'm the real deal.
Tell me about the real deal. What have you done? What have you done, Danger Man?
I've gone to school.
Have you seen Danger?
Yes, I've seen danger.
You know, I live in a foster home. You know what danger is, don't you?
I've worked with
Yeah,
kids.
trying to eat a meal at night. Yeah, trying to find a bed. That's what danger is.
You know what? The Hawk was pissing me off. Okay, I'm telling you, yeah, he was pissing me off.
Tell me what you've done, Danger Man. Why should I listen to you?
Well, because I got experience. I got passion. I feel what you're going through, kid. I want you to sit down and just listen to me.
All right.
I've
okay.
taken my time to come out here
make me
today.
Listen, Danger Man.
All right. Oh, look, I've taken my time out of my busy day because I love you guys. All right.
All right.
And
First of all, you don't say I've taken my time out of my busy day. No one gives a damn about that. First of all, I'm here because I love you guys.
Right.
And love is the key.
Great.
You are here because I love you guys. And you know these kids don't have love. They need someone to put their arm around them and say, hey, okay, it's okay to cry. It's okay to feel. It's okay.
You know what a lot of these kids need? The Danger Man is actually God. I'm hoping he is actually trying to help. Let me do some splaining to Danger Man. What these kids need is someone to explain to them that there's more outside of their world than the average bullshit that they see every single day, and that life really isn't that cheap. How about you fathers raise your fucking sons and teach them to not be little fucking psychotics? How about you teach your children, one, life isn't fair. It's never going to be fair. But guess what else it's not? It's not about your goddamn feelings. Excuse me, I'm burping up everything. How about you teach children, teach your sons to respect women and not treat them like bitches and hoes. But you teach young men to be men and teach them that respect is something that is earned through your choices and your interactions. It's not something that is earned with that. Thinking this earns you respect makes you a fucking pussy. Thinking that these are going to solve all your issues makes you a fucking punk. How about you teach kids that? I understand teaching literacy. God knows these school systems in the United States are failing the shit out of these kids, because I get them at the college level after they had so-called graduated, and I get them and they can't fucking read because your little Democrat leftist schools fail the shit out of these kids. This, oh, you can't hurt little Timmy's feelings while he's eating his goddamn Jell-O, and the rest of the class is over here doing trigonometry. Yes, you can hurt little Timmy's feelings. You tell little Timmy that if he doesn't get it, guess what? You have to work hard enough to make the grade, and then maybe, just maybe, trigonometry ain't your fucking speed, and you need to be doing something else. I'd love to sit down and have a chat with old Danger Man here. Yeah, that's people would call me racist for saying shit like that, even though I didn't assign a color to it. I can tell you without a fucking doubt, though, that these school systems tend to absolutely fail younger black men at a higher rate than they do other people. And they do that under the guise of not being racist. You know, one of these days, I get my FFL rolling, and I get to where maybe I can be a little, fuck me, I'm still pretty honest about shit. I can get into maybe more in depth on things, I should say. maybe I can like explain some of the experiences from the last. Let's see, it was in 2010 when I started. So 13 years. Let's watch a little bit more Danger Man.
Okay to have anger. That's what you got to tell these kids. And then these kids are going to say Danger Man is cool. You got to be cool. Knight Rider worked. Why? Because Knight Rider was cool. You know? Okay? Go for it, Danger Man.
All right, kids. I'm Danger Man, the urban superhero. And I've come here today because I love you kids. I'm here today because I want to make a difference in your life.
Right on.
I want to sit down and learn what you guys go through every day.
Yeah.
And talk to you about my experiences and how I can help you to be.
You guys
better.
are welcome for me.
How are
bringing
you?
Danger Man,
To live
your attention,
a happy, and
enriching
safe life.
your life experience.
Yes, there's a lot of drama out
as it
there
would be.
in the community every day. I know you guys are scared. You
Bigger.
you have to deal with stuff on a daily basis. But I'm here to empower you and to let you know that it can get better. All right, and just to never give up. Stay focused. You know, keep your eye on the prize, and you can be somebody.
You can be what you want.
You can be what you want. You can be anything you want.
And you can learn to have fun again.
And have fun again.
And you can laugh.
And laugh.
Right on. That's the way, Danger Man. Yes, yes. Now that's the attitude. That's the attitude. You got my attention. That's the attitude.
The Hawk has a lot of passion. It comes out.
All right, man. Keep it like that. Keep it up.
Yeah,
Laugh.
right. And I really think the Hawk got what it's like to be a superhero.
Get him happy. Get him happy.
You can be anything that you want.
I appreciate it. I've improved today. I really believe I have.
you can't.
And I'm going to do better in the presentation I have coming up next week.
It doesn't matter how much you want to be the basketball star or the football star.
I can't wait to thank
Because very
Dan
few
for this
people are going
time
to
with the
make
Hawk.
it
I mean, because this is really going to
to a
improve my
level
work.
to where they are going to
Wow.
be
I mean,
that
from superhero to superhero to superhero.
rich guy
Great stuff.
playing that. We teach kids a profession, a trade. All right, what else does Danger Man have here? Books, not bullets. The Danger Man Books Not Bullets tour empowers children to choose books and reading over guns and bullets. All children deserve an opportunity to live and grow up and achieve success. Danger Man's 9-point plan to end gun violence. This ought to be fucking priceless. I got to end this after this. Danger Man, the real-life black superhero, works every day to prevent gun violence and make the streets of America safer for all Americans. Danger Man wants to cut Freudian slip, wants to cut gun violence deaths by 80% by 2028. You realize already the vast majority of gun deaths are suicides. People who could commit suicide with any other object. All right. Let's stay with this. The Danger Man proclamation would make it illegal for Congress to accept campaign funds from the NRA. Fuck me running. Stay on track. Stay on track. Number 2, Danger Man proclamation would close the loophole regarding gun shows. All gun show sales would have to be recorded and background checks performed. The Danger Man proclamation also requires that any gun sold in America must have paperwork, much like automobiles. Oh, buddy, I can see this. Point 4, the Danger Man proclamation would also require that any guns that are stolen must be reported to police within 24 hours. Stay with me. The Danger Man proclamation would also push for stronger sentences for those convicted of trafficking guns and ammunition. Number 6, the Danger Man proclamation would also limit the number of guns gun manufacturers can sell to America. It's easier to get a gun than it is a pack of cigarettes in America. Where we're at. Number 7, the Danger Man proclamation would also ban online gun sales, 3D printing, and he wants to ban smart guns. The Danger Man proclamation would also ban online gun sales, 3D printing, and smart guns. I got no problems with banning smart guns. Number 8, the Danger Man proclamation would also require tougher sentencing for those carrying and using any kind of firearm in the commission of a crime. No excuses. Number 9, the Danger Man proclamation would ban bump stocks and high-capacity magazines. At the Danger Man Education Foundation, Inc., we believe these are necessary steps which must take place in order to make America free from danger. Every day we advocate, attend rallies, and communicate with the victims of gun violence to ease their pain. I'm really getting hooked on Danger Man. As part of our work, we visit schools, boys and girls clubs, and community events to get the message out. Books, not bullets. Life, not death. Celebration, not funerals. We want people to believe they can go with their babies to church, to restaurants. Hold on. We believe, because I've had a few beers, maybe under the influence of a couple drugs, we believe they can go with their babies to church, to restaurants, shopping malls, concerts, and workplace without getting is this a typo here? Or did he start speaking another fucking language? Without getting shot the hell up. Parents must be assured that when they drop their children off to school in the morning, that they will be safe, and I'm assuming that says won't, get a phone call that their kid has been shot. We can stop gun violence in America. Says Danger Man, the real-life black superhero who became a superhero 20 years ago because of the death of a child due to gun violence. Over 34,000 people are killed each year. Well, at least he got the year part right. Because of gun violence. And this must stop. Danger Man needs your support to fight the NRA and gun lobby. I believe, or hold on, I can because I believe I can. Since 1998, Danger Man, the urban superhero, has promoted literacy, safety, and good health for children. He emphasizes the importance of claiming an excellent education. The importance of claiming is, I'm reading that right, guys. Emphasizes the importance of claiming an excellent education. Danger Man empowers children to celebrate the power of reading books, staying in school, growing good citizenship. Yeah, he did say that. And avoiding violence and substance abuse. Crack is whack. Fun, fitness, good health. All right, hold on. How did I got here somehow. Hold on. We got to back up. Yeah, it's going to be at least 4:30-ish. Let's see. Danger Man, we need police reform.
Who died at the hands of 5 big men, 5 police officers, who literally beat him to death, beat him down.
Crow, what's up, brother man?
Hit him with the nightsticks. This really messed him up. Okay. And now he's gone. So then today, this is Saturday, today the 28th. Today out of Memphis, breaking news where the Scorpion unit was disbanded. That's the police unit.
Freezing in Texas.
Where these officers, these 5 officers were a part of that stopped Tyre, okay? And, they've had these police units in cities across America for years. When I was a kid in Detroit, we had one called the Big 3, okay? And that was 3 police officers that rolled around in a police car. Like maybe one was a detective and 2 were uniform cops, and sometimes they had unmarked cars as well and had special uniforms and stuff, okay? And so it's always something they've had in Black communities, but now we need police reform because we got to stop this BS, okay? All right. And we want safe streets, we want safe communities, safe schools, but not at the cost of losing innocent individuals to brutality. Police brutality has got to stop. We need cops to do the right thing, okay? And this young man had just such a promising future, okay, which we'll never know now how far he could have gotten, okay? There'll be a big lawsuit. The insurance company or the city will have to pay. Okay. But these officers need to go to jail. They had no right to take this young man's life. No right. Okay. And So it's happening everywhere in cities across America. Police reform is needed now. Okay. So that, we can feel good about the police and their service to our communities. Okay.
But
there's a lot of good cops.
At the same time, believe that private citizens shouldn't own the arms that I have sitting around me.
That's the word on this.
And that only state
has been dissolved.
Officers should have these arms.
But I think they'll still be held responsible for what was done. Okay. So anyway,
Taco, take it
talk
easy.
To your kids, talk to your young people.
I'm about out of beer. I'm about to go to
out
bed
there in
too.
the streets. Okay. And so that we can keep this from happening. Okay. All right, guys. This is your boy Danger Man, the urban superhero, and this is.
And if I have nightmares about Danger Man,
and keep them safe,
I'm blaming all of you because I don't want to take responsibility for this.
Talk to them about this case, okay, so that they understand what's going on here, not just what the media is putting out. Okay, so we're going to talk to them about how it affects them in their life, in their situation, their everyday activities. Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. It's Danger Man, the urban superhero.
I got to put my headphones on.
Danger Man moment. Love you guys, and let's take care of our kids, our young people. Peace.
It's fairly well known in the place I call home. I like girls with an ass that is roomy. I met an old slut with a very large butt. She said, son, for $10 you can do me. The bathroom wall said that she gave some good head, and for a good time to call her this evening. I was worried though that I just didn't know if I'd wind up with some dude named Steven. I gave her a call and we went to the mall and we enjoyed a couple of Slurpees. Was 2 days or more, I was pretty damn sore. I found out the old bag gave me herpes. Her hair was dyed, she didn't have a good side. She had moved here from someplace near Boston. When I got her home and she took off her clothes, well, my cookies I just about tossed them. Her bush when she turned looked like an overgrown fern in desperate need of some water. Her elbows and knees had some scab disease, and her mustache looked like Sergeant Slaughter. I turned off the lights, 'cause if I looked at her right, I felt like my eyes would start failing. Then I ran outside as my lunch began to slide, and I vomited over the railing. I went back inside to finish my ride, saying, Betty, it's been good to know you. She said, not so fast, bro, there's something you should know. Now come here, I've got something to show you. The skin looked all wrong right up next to her thong. It was red and it looked irritated. Felt an itch on my crank and then my heart just sank. Aw, damn, I should have just masturbated. Does anyone know where the love of God goes when you pee and it feels just like acid? It was 2 weeks ago that I slept with that hoe, and my penis now it just stays flaccid. You might like this song and you might sing along, and you may even think that it's funny. But you wouldn't know if every time you go, there's a discharge that's white and real runny.
This dude is fucking hysterical.
My tail now spans all across this great land, from Maine all the way to the Rockies. Give me a sec. My Pinot steams like a cappuccino machine, and it keeps burning holes in my jockey. That filthy old hoe lives in Detroit, they say, and it's doubtful that anyone's caring. Her career high, she banged 29 guys on the hood of her Chrysler LeBaron. The doctors all say that smell won't go away, like some shrimp that's been shipped here from China. I tried Listerine, even used Listerine, but my nuts still smell like filthy vagina.
Yeah, we're gonna end it like this. We're just gonna I know I got something else. Oh, here we go.
You're pissing me off, man. Fuck.
Everybody sing along.
I bang on the door, but you won't let me in. 'Cause you're sick and tired of me reeking of gin. Locked all the doors from the front to the back. And left me a note telling me I should pack.
Oh yeah, you guys that rumble.
I walk in the bar and the fellas all cheer. Order me up a whiskey and beer. You ask me why I'm writing this poem. Some call it a tavern, but I call it home. Fuck you, I'm drunk. Fuck you, I'm drunk. Pour my beer down the sink. I've got more in the trunk. Fuck you, I'm drunk. Fuck you, I'm drunk. And I'm going to be drunk till the next time I'm drunk. You've given me an option. You say I must choose between you and the liquor. Then I'll take the booze. I'm jumping on Western down to the south side, where I'll sit down and exercise my Irish pride. Fuck you, I'm drunk. Fuck you, I'm drunk. Pour my beer down the sink. I've got more in the trunk. Fuck you, I'm drunk. Fuck you, I'm drunk. And I'm going to be drunk till the next time I'm drunk.
Get off that stage.
Shit. What else do I got? I know I got something else. Da, 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 da. Let's see. That's all. Hearings. More hearings. Oh, here we go. You guys know this one. You have to sing along with this one. Come on. You got to sing along. You should know the words by now.
I've tried, and I've tried even more. I've cried, and
You'll be singing this shit in the morning. Trust me.
I can't recall what for. I pressed, I pushed, I yelled and begged in hopes of some success. But the inevitable fact is that it never will impress. I've no more fucks to give. My fucks have run dry. I've tried to go fuck shopping, but there's no fucks left to buy. I've no more fucks to give. The more fucks I've tried to get, I'm over my fuck budget tenor and now in fucking debt.
Come on, you guys know this by now. It's been a while since I played this one.
I strive to get everything done. I play by all the rules, but I very rarely won. I've smiled, I've charmed, I would have laughed, alas, to no avail. I'd run round like a moron to unequivocally fail.
I've no more fucks to give. My fuck fuse has just blown. I've been hunting for my fucks all day, but they've up and fucked off home. I've no more fucks to give. My fuck rations are depleted. I've rallied my fuck army, but it's been fucking defeated. The effort has just not been worth the time or the expense.
Come on, everybody sing along.
I've exhausted all my energy for minimal recompense. The complete lack of acknowledgement has now begun to go, and I've come to realize.
Say, everybody sing along. Sing it, hit the high note.
That I don't give a fuck at all. I've no more fucks to give. My fucks are blown away. My fucks are now so fucked up they refuse to fucking stay. I've no more fucks to give. My fucks have gone insane. They've come back round and passed me while they're fucking off again. I've no more fucks to give. My fucks have all dissolved. I planned many projects, but my fucks won't be involved. I've no more fucks to give. My fucks have all been spent. They fucked off from the building, and I don't know where they went. I've no more fucks to give.
Everybody sing along. You know the lyrics.
I've no more fucks to give. I've no more fucks. I've no more fucks. I've no more fucks to give. Thank you very much.
Oh, we're playing that again. Yeah, we're backing that ass up. DM, what is happening, brother man? I'm about to crash. What can I say? We've listened to gun control shit all fucking day long, and then some. We got on Danger Man. If you haven't seen, excuse me, Danger Man yet, DM, you have to look him up. He is quite the interesting character. Crow, I'll tell you this. The anti-gun people know that prohibition on guns will work about as much as prohibition on alcohol. They just don't give a flying rat's ass about it. Come on, everybody sing along.
I tried, and I tried even more. I cried, and I can't recall what for. I pressed, I pushed, I yelled, and begged in hopes of some success. But the inevitable fact is that it never will impress. I've no more fucks to give. My fucks have run dry. I've tried to go fuck shopping, but there's no fucks left to buy. I've no more fucks to give. The more fucks I've tried to get, I'm over my fuck budget and I'm now in fucking debt.
Come on, you guys know it by now. Everybody sing along. You'll be thinking about this shit while you're at work later today. Something is going to happen, and this song is going to pop into your head, and it's fucking perfect.
I strive to get everything done. I play by all the rules, but I very rarely won. I've smiled, I've charmed, I would have laughed, alas, to no avail. I'd run round like a moron to unequivocally fail. I've no more fucks to give. My fuck fuse has just blown. I've been hunting for my fucks all day, but they've up and fucked off home. I've no more fucks to give. My fuck rations are depleted. I've rallied my fuck army, but it's been fucking defeated. The effort has just not been worth the time or the expense. I've exhausted all my energy energy for minimal recompense. The complete lack of acknowledgement has now begun to go, and I've come to realize that I don't give a fuck. I've no more fucks to give. My fucks are blown away. My fucks are now so fucked off they refuse to fucking stay. I've no more fucks to give. My fucks have gone insane. They've come back round and passed me while they're fucking off again. I've no more fucks to give. My fucks have all dissolved. I plan many projects, but my fucks won't be involved.
You guys
I've
on
no more fucks to give.
Rumble
My
are getting
fucks have all
it
been spent. They fucked off from the building and I don't know where they went. I've no more fucks to give. I've no more fucks to give. I've no more fucks. I've no more fucks. I've no more fucks to give. Thank you very much.
I started this stream just to play around streaming on Rumble for a little bit. And it turned into a complete fucking nightmare. You guys on Rumble, welcome to my brain. Oh, dude, yeah, he's got some others. I don't have them loaded up like I do that one though. Do I have, let's see, do I have anything else that's just fun to play? Watch Cops. It is amazing how much fucking gun control shit that I have. It really is mind-blowing. Hold on. Let's see. Shit. No, that's not where it's at. Where's it at? Desktop. No, it's not there. It's not in documents. Where the hell? Where in the hell is it actually? I know it is on 17 pane iPhone. I got so much shit. Huh. Oh, hold on. Whoops. Look like your video. Fuck off. Billy, what's up, brother? Yeah, I don't even think it's probably okay to watch then, really. I wonder if I can Yeah, I got about half a beer left. Let's see. Hold on. There's a way I can do this. There's a way I can share this. And I'm trying to figure it out. Give me a sec. Fuck me running. It's not that. Maybe I can't do it the way I want to do it. Maybe don't push the maybe, baby. Maybe I can't. Yeah, Rumble's got live chat. So, like today, well, fuck, yesterday now, started streaming early about the gun control hearings that were going on. Messed around when I got home, streaming stuff, and then finally early tonight, or fuck late tonight now, started looking at Rumble, and apparently now I have enough subs over there that I can actually live stream to Rumble. I know I'm going to post a bunch of stuff on Rumble as far as gunsmithing, stuff that I've done. I'm going to go back and look at a bunch of SDI videos, the Sonoran Desert Institute gunsmithing classes that I took, which, by the way, Sunday was the final part of my last semester with SDI. That's done, which is cool. It's been a cool ride. Let me see. I wonder if I can do it this way. Because I just want to jam for a little bit. Let's see. Hold on. Yeah, I just want to jam for just a little bit before I go to bed because I'm fixing to crash. Multiple files. Add Eric July. Let's see. Will it do it? No, it won't. Son of a bitch. You guys have to tell me if you can hear this. And if you haven't listened to Eric July, fuck, dude, you need to. So you guys let me know whether you're hearing what's on the screen now. Yep, that's it. And this is music. You guys should be hearing it. This is music. Eric July put out a whole album that you can get free off of Bandcamp and use it however you want. And then there's just a bunch of music of him just jamming. And when you listen to dude's lyrics in this shit, let's see. Upload video. Screw it, man. I'm not messing around with it right now. Hold on. Why are we on the same song? Here we go.
Looking at the technological advances, I used to be on dial-up looking for answers. Now with underappreciated was handy, and 20 years later we got computers that answer. Used to be playing Sega Genesis with bros, now later with some folks on the other side of the globe. Used to go through a label and try to got more options on the table, got a post. Social media, got us connected as ever on every medium. Should be more righteous and clever for what we see. Communication is error and still the devious. Evils are media. Genius that you gotta be remediate, because idiots get heebie-jeebies in the event that they don't agree with you. Try to ruin your whole life, because you say what they dislike. God forbid y'all disagree without a fight. The type of stuff that will cut up if you writing up, champ. You're trying to subject, you're like the writer, you can come there.
Hopefully, you guys are hearing this.
Control your whole life, man. You can be a miserable person. Straight up. Unfortunately, that's where we're at. A lot of people are consumed by this. It's driving them crazy. They hate their neighbors. Sad.
It's all right, Billy. It's one thing about it, Billy. You ain't got to like everything I do or everything I listen to. Doesn't matter to me, man. As long as we can agree on freedom, as long as we can agree on the fact that the government has zero right to manage firearms or anything like that, that's what it is, man. It's all good. Like I said, fucking 3 hours ago now, I was just doing a test on Rumble just to play. 3 hours ago. Now we've been running for a while. All right, I'm going to smoke one more, then I'm headed to bed. Yeah, Billy's much love, man. Can't let slide. Dropping everything. That's what it's all about, brother. We make it mine. Can't let slide. Just it's a damn video I did on an AK build early with SDI that I did with this shit playing in the background. I got to post that shit to Rumble. Rhyme by everybody else. No sense of self. Then have your own. I gotta buy some more of his stuff. I hear you, Billy. All right, guys. All right. So I got to get out of here, man. I got to get some sleep, guys. So end it. You know, Dark's got his way ending things, and I got mine. So mine's simple. You perps be cool. Much love to all of you guys. Keep that thing on you at all times. And just be cool. It's not hard. I could go deeper into it. Much in the way of hey, just because you carry doesn't make you the big dog. Just because you carry doesn't make you the badass. Carrying something like this should make you the most mild-mannered person on this planet. I know it does me. I'm a lot more mild when I carry. And I carry every day now. So I tend to be very mild-mannered. Be cool. Keep that thing on you at all times. Because there are people out there who they don't care. They will take everything from you at any given moment. It's just the way they operate. It is what it is. So I'm going to crash, man. I'm going to get some sleep. You guys out there, 100%, I love all you guys. Again, I said it earlier or on the other stream. Like I said, I wasn't planning on being up this late doing this one. But I get to 300 followers. I never planned on hitting 100. But we get in that, 300. We're going to do a giveaway, man. Some of these plasma cuts and stuff that I got hanging up, basically from bills that I covered last year, some of the stuff that was just for fun. We're going to do a giveaway. I ain't figured out necessarily how I'll do it yet. Whether I'll go for the 300th viewer. What I might do, to be honest with you guys, is go for the 300th viewer and some of the first viewers that actually sub to my channel and send out cuts to both of them. Kurt, what is up? Speaking of one of the first viewers, I think Kurt was the first cat that ever subscribed to my channel. So I hit the 300 mark. I'm like 270 something right now. It hit that 300 mark. I'll probably do a giveaway on some of these plasma cuts. One of my favorites that's sitting right up here above my computer is the 2 crossed AKs and the come and get them design underneath. Of course, my favorite, well, it's actually 2 cuts that I did of the middle finger for the AFT. Might send that out some cats. And I've got, there's a couple things. Hell, I've got a mag loader for, it works mainly with like polymer mags for an AR. I just don't use the damn thing. Might do something like sending that out to somebody. Reading an article about a felon caught possession of MGs. They say ghost guns have no markings, often assembled from kits. Don't have serial numbers. Yeah. We've talked about it before, man. This whole idea of ghost guns, to think that a lot of criminals in the United States are taking the time to finish a gun like this, to make sure that it runs, or to press rivets on a gun like this and make sure that it actually is a functional firearm. Those are 80% gun, 80% gun. To think that most criminals in the United States are actually doing that is idiotic. It's much easier to take a gun, hell, like this. This is my wife's everyday carry. It's much easier to take a gun like this and remove serial numbers than it is to actually build a functioning firearm. But again, I'm fixing to crash, man. But yeah, we get to that 300 mark. I got a couple things I want to give away. A couple of cool plasma cuts, maybe that mag loader, couple of things. In fact, I got another lit up plasma cut I got to send out tomorrow. Should get the time to send it out tomorrow. I just finished it up today for one of the cool cats who does a lot of support for the Second Amendment. We'll see. But anyway, and like I said, I'm out, guys. You guys be cool. Again, keep that thing on you at all times. And be nice, man. Be honorable people. I don't really know how much more pointed I can make that. If you are an honorable man, because most people who follow me are men. I mean, there's a couple of women, but if you're honorable people, this life's not going to be easy because you are going to see things that other people don't. You are going to realize that we are ruled by people who are not honorable people. And if you're like me, which you guys are in a lot of cases, and you put honor and honesty above most things, it's not going to make your life easy or easier. Matter of fact, it's going to make your life harder. But at the end of the day, you still know who you are. So, anyway, like I said, I got to get out of here, guys. I got to get a little bit of sleep. Love all you guys. Be cool. Keep that thing on you at all times. And this mofo is out. I'm going to get some sleep. Love you guys. Later.